Part 73. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 733. Huanglong Mountain is only 300 miles in length and width, and it is just a small mountain. There are only dozens of mountains in total, and the highest Yunwu peak is less than 400 feet. Viewed from above, the peaks in Huanglong Mountain are beautiful, with waves of pines and waves, strange peaks and strange rocks, stacked on top of each other. Rare birds and animals can be seen everywhere, waterfalls and springs, with their roar and sound, rivers, lakes, and streams, reflecting the sky. What kind of miasma-filled Jedi place was it? It was clearly the cave of the immortal family with endless blessings and longevity and rich aura. Yang Ye, who has passed by Huanglong Mountain several times, was surprised by the changes here. The respect for Su Junming, the true monarch of Chongshan, has increased a lot. Stop it! Along with the loud shouts, a heroic general wearing a green dragon armor and holding a fanged yen painted halberd blocked everyone's way. Yang Ye recognized at once that this person was the disciple who stood behind true Lord Chongshan when he was in Qingyang Mountain. May I ask, is that little friend Yu Xiang in front of you? Yu Xiang has met General Yang. Yu Xiang also recognized Yang Ye. After greeting each other, can Master Ling be in the mountain? General, is there something wrong? I will take me to His Majesty Huitsong to pay homage to the true king. Just as Yu Xiang was about to speak, his expression suddenly changed, as if he heard something. Everyone, please come with me. Having said that, lead the way ahead. Everyone quickly followed. This true Lord Chongshan is really of great value. He knew it was me who was here, but he actually dared not go out to greet him in person? What's even more outrageous was that he asked me to pay homage to him, Zhao Ji said angrily. Your Majesty, for the sake of the greater good, please put aside the wrath of the thunder, Cai Jing advised. Zhao Ji nodded. Don't worry, Mr. Cai, I still have this little city. Your Majesty, Holy Might. Led by Yu Xiang, the group landed on a flattened stone platform. This stone platform is surrounded by cliffs on three sides, and only due east is where a stone path stretches deep into the pine forest. The stone platform is 2 to 3 acres in size, enough for Zhao Ji and his party to settle down. Your Majesty, I also want to see the great Master Chongshan. Accompanied by a soft and bone-mellow voice, an alluring head stretched out from behind the thick and luxurious car curtain. Before Zhao Ji could say anything, Yu Xiang had already said, it is inconvenient for female guests to stay in this important Taoist place, so I would like to ask your Majesty to come and check it out. Zhao Ji looked angry, but thought of what he had discussed with Cai Jing before, and endured it. Turn your head. My beloved, please stay here for a moment. I will be back soon. Well, your Majesty must come back soon. I love you, please be at ease. After comforting his beloved beauty with his kind words, Zhao Ji jumped out of the carriage. It is enough for General Yang and Prime Minister Cai to accompany me. You will stay here to protect the imperial concubine. As you command. The imperial guards around them responded loudly. You have to take good care of her. If I come back and find that my queen is missing a hair, I will ask you. After giving the uneasy explanation, Zhao Ji, accompanied by Yang Ye and Cai Jing, followed Yu Xiang and walked forward along the stone path. The stone road zigzagged upwards, and after walking a few hundred meters, a blue-gray boulder appeared in front of it. After bypassing this square boulder, which was 6 to 7 feet tall, there was another open stone platform in front of us. In the middle of this stone platform, stands a stone archway 3 feet high, 4 feet wide, with 3 doors and 4 pillars. The archway is simple and elegant, with no complicated or gorgeous decorations. Only 4 large characters are engraved on the plaque in the upper middle. Chongshan Cave Heaven. Yu Xiang made a seal with his hand, and a spiritual light touched the back of the archway. The empty air in the middle doorway suddenly started to ripple like water droplets in a lotus pond. Gradually, a faint white brilliance bloomed. "You three, please come in." As the emperor of the Song dynasty, Zhaoji naturally knew about the paradise of cave heaven. In fact, the imperial city of the Song dynasty was a cave. "I would like to see what Master Kongshan's dojo looks like." After saying that, he strode in quickly. Yang Ye and Cai Jing followed closely behind. Yu Xiang stayed at the back. It was the first time for Zhao Ji and the other three people to come here, and their eyes only felt blurred. A vast sea of clouds suddenly appeared in front of me. The vast white clouds are boundless, reflecting the rising sun, with thousands of golden lights and myriad phenomena. Before the three of them could sigh, the mighty clouds suddenly dissipated. Before the three of them could react, they landed in a bamboo forest. "Three of you, please." Yu Xiang led the way. Not far ahead, there was a simple stone bridge no more than 3 or 4 feet wide. After crossing the stone bridge and retreating through the bamboo door, there was a 2-story bamboo building in front of it. A tall Taoist priest, wearing a green Taoist robe and a green gourd hanging around his waist, was standing in front of the door. Zhao Ji looked at it. "General Yang, is he the true lord of Chongshan?" "Return to your majesty, it is the true king who is here." "Su Junming, the poor Taoist Chongshan true monarch, has met your majesty." Su Junming bowed slightly. Zhao Ji waved his hand sharply. "True lord, there is no need to be polite, please get up quickly." Su Junming smiled lightly and said, "Thank you, your majesty. The family is humble, please don't blame your majesty." General Yang and Prime Minister Cai. Having said that, he led the way. After crossing the door, there is a living room with a hanging painting with the word Dao hanging in the middle and a yellow cloth futon underneath. Su Junming walked to the middle futon and sat down on it without hesitation, and Yu Xiang stood behind him. "You three, please take a seat." Following the words, spiritual light burst out from the empty ground, and soon turned into 3 light red futons. Zhao Ji is in front, Yang Ye is in the middle, and Cai Jing is last. Although Zhao Ji was a little angry that Su Junming sat down before him, and didn't even give him a cup of tea, so he didn't take him seriously. But thinking that the other party was a golden immortal, he didn't dare to be presumptuous. "I wonder what important business your majesty has come to my Huanglong mountain." After taking a breath and calming down, he said, "I heard from General Yang that there is a treasure in Qingyang mountain, the dragon and tiger seal. It was originally used by the Emperor Xiahao tens of thousands of years ago when he sealed Shiaji. Later, this treasure came to the real person. I wonder if this is the case in your hands." "It's true." I didn't expect that the other party would admit it so readily. Zhao Ji's eyes lit up and he said quickly, "This treasure is extremely important to me, the Song dynasty. Please give this treasure to me. I will be very grateful." Su Junming smiled lightly. "Pandao makes a bold guess that what your majesty wants is not the dragon bird seal, but the earth vein dragon energy in it." The expressions of the three people changed. Yang Ye and Cai Jing were still angry, but Zhao Ji blurted out, "How do you know?" "His Majesty." Yang Ye hurriedly stopped him, but it was already too late. Zhao Ji also knew that he had made a mistake and couldn't help but regret it. But once the words were spoken, they could not be taken back. His calm gaze slowly swept over everyone, and Su Junming stretched out his left palm. A bright yellow ball the size of a goose egg appeared in front of everyone. Along with the yellow-orange brilliance flashing, the three people heard the desolate and rich dragon roar in a trance. "Earth vein dragon chi." Zhao Ji, Cai Jing, and Yang Ye understood instantly. The Longke treasure seal was originally the treasure of the Longke clan, one of the 9 powerful clans in ancient times. Later, the Longke clan was destroyed by Xiahao, and the Dragonke treasure seal came into his hands. For some reason, he didn't take away the rich earth vein dragon energy from the dragon bird seal, but kept it inside. But no matter what, just put this earth vein dragon energy into the great Song Dynasty dragon vein. It was enough to make the Song Dynasty's fortune last for another 1,000 years. With such great achievements, even if I die in the future, I will enter the Zhao family heroic soul hall, rebuild my golden body, and live as long as heaven and earth. Thinking of this, Zhao Ji's eyes instantly became hot when he looked at the earth vein dragon energy. If Su Junming hadn't been so powerful in cultivation, he would have let Yang Ye and Cai Jing snatch it away at this moment. He quickly suppressed the unnecessary distracting thoughts in his heart. Master, can you hand this thing over to me? Master, don't worry. Our royal family of the Song dynasty has been in power for 8,964 years and has accumulated countless treasures in the treasury. In exchange, Master can choose any three. Su Junming smiled faintly and shook his head. The poor Taoist is an outsider and doesn't need any treasures. Zhao Ji's expression changed. Is it possible that the real person doesn't want to give this thing to me? Of course not. Zhao Ji felt relieved. Then what does Zhen Zhen mean? Pandeo has already broken through to the Golden Immortal. In 2 months, it will be the period of preaching that he promised to the monks all over the world when he was in Qingyang Mountain. After preaching, the poor Taoist will start a mountain to recruit disciples and establish a section. Now in the Great Song dynasty, every Taoist sect with a Jingxian in charge owns a county as a fiefdom. Today, I am going to use this earth vein dragon energy to ask your majesty for a county as a fiefdom for Chongshan Academy. Manner. Zhao Ji was stunned for a moment. When Taizha Zhao Kuangyan founded the country, in order to win the support of Taoist sects in the world, he promised to grant the states and counties where each Taoist sect is located to each Taoist sect. A Zongdao sect with a real immortal under its control has a county. The superior Taoist sects with Xianxian as their commander get a place in the palace. The top Taoist sect with the golden immortal in charge will get a county. Everything in the fiefdom, including population, taxes, etc., was under the jurisdiction of the Taoist sect itself, except for not opposing the court, killing innocent people indiscriminately, or practicing magic methods. The Song dynasty did not interfere. Later, as the Song dynasty consolidated the world, some Taoist sects with fiefdoms declined or wandered into the devil's way. They were mercilessly executed by the Song dynasty's imperial army, and their fiefdoms were also taken back. Today, the number of sects that still have fiefdoms is more than half that of when the Song dynasty was founded. And the newly rising sect never received the reward of fiefdom again. After the founding of the Song dynasty, I no longer have a fiefdom, so I would like to ask Zhenjun to change my condition. Yang Ye was the first to speak. Su Junming put away his earth vein dragon energy. I only want the land. If your majesty refuses, then please take it back. After Zhao Ji exchanged vague glances with Cai Jing, the former said, General Yang, please go out first. Yang Ye suddenly stood up with an angry look on his face. Your Majesty, after Taizha passed the throne, he ordered that no more territories be granted to Taoist sects in the world. Could it be that your Majesty has forgotten? Zhao Ji, who had been angered by his repeated offenses for a long time, suddenly stood up with an angry look on his face. Yang Ye, you are bold. You speak arrogantly. Do you still have me in your eyes? Yang Ye, although you are an old minister of Taizhu, you are also a minister of our Song dynasty. Now in the Song dynasty, His Majesty is the Emperor and your Lord. You have repeatedly contradicted me, but it is a crime of disrespect, Cai Jingyin said. Yang Ye took a deep breath and cupped his hands into fists. My lord, I don't dare. In that case, why don't you go out? Cai Jing said. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 734. Yang Ye's eyes flashed with anger, and his majestic momentum disappeared in a flash. Cai Jing, who was no more than a true immortal, was immediately pressed against him with a look of horror on his face, and he took several steps back. I respect today's emperor, not a sinister villain like you. After saying that, he suddenly turned his head and looked directly at Zhao Ji, whose face was livid, as if he was extremely angry. As a minister, it is the duty of a minister to rebel against Yan's direct remonstrance. Therefore, if I object to the fiefdom matter, if His Majesty insists on doing it, I will go to the immortal court to report to Emperor Taizhu of the Ming dynasty. Yang Ye, you are so brave. Zhao Ji went crazy with anger. After Yang Ye cupped his fists and saluted, he strode out of the room regardless of Zhao Ji. Looking at his back, Su Junming showed appreciation on his face. Your Majesty, let him be arrogant for a while. Cai Jing winked at Zhao Ji. The latter understood. If he had been a little hesitant before, he was now completely determined. Turn around suddenly. Master Su, I agree to your conditions. But I have an additional condition. Zhao Ji, who looked angry, took a deep breath and said word by word, I want you to kill Yang Ye for me. Su Junming was stunned. He never expected that Zhao Ji would say such a thing. Who is Yang Ye? That was the pillar of the Song dynasty, the #1 general, and he was the best in the world with his golden Taoism. It defeated the attacks of Jin and Liao on many occasions. Together with the former prime minister of the Song dynasty, Zhao Piyu, the current prime minister of the Yellow Emperor's fairy court, and the Yellow Emperor Zhao Kuangyan, they are the three Optimus primes of the Song dynasty. It was the foundation that ensured the longevity of the Song dynasty. Now as the emperor of the Song dynasty, Zhao Ji actually wants to destroy the Great Wall? Thinking of the story of Song Jiaozong Zhao Go who killed Yu Fei on trumped-up charges in the previous life. Is this the traditional performing arts of the old Zhao family? Regardless of whether Zhao Ji is confused or not, he must protect his own interests. Yang Ye is a powerful person in the middle stage of the Golden Immortal. If you want to kill him, Pandeo has to risk his life. Therefore, Your Majesty wants to use a county in exchange for Pandeo's hard-earned Earth Vein Dragon energy, and you have to let Pandeo kill him. This poor man is working hard for Your Majesty, but he is too greedy. I'll give you 2 counties. Your Majesty, wait. Cai Jing said quickly. Seeing Su Junming's bottomless and majestic eyes, Cai Jing stepped forward bravely. After bowing to Su Junming first, the land of the 2 counties is exchanged for the True Lord's action and the dragon energy of the earth. This junior has no objection. It's just that this matter may arouse the criticism of the world. If Tianqi Tao, Chunyang sect, Kongtong sect, and Shenxiao Tao all rely on this as a basis, and also demanded the expansion of the fiefdom, which was detrimental to the Song dynasty. At that time, if Emperor Taizhu interferes, in order to appease the public anger, I am afraid that the land of Zhenzin's 2 counties will not be securely obtained. For real people's sake, I also ask you to take up the position of the Guo Daijun of the Great Song dynasty, so as to stop the world from talking about it. Even if Emperor Taizhu knows about it, Your Majesty will still be careful. You are very smart, Su Junming said calmly. If he accepts the position of the king of the protector of the country, even if it is just in name, he will undoubtedly prove to the world that he, Su Junming, and Chongshan Academy are on the side of the Song dynasty court. With his support, even without Yang Ye, the strength of the Song dynasty has not declined but risen, and it is still as stable as Mount Tai. Of course, if this is the case, the land allocated to him by the Song dynasty in the 2 counties can be regarded as a famous teacher, and he is not afraid of dissatisfaction from Tianqi Dao, Chunyang sect, Kongtong sect, and Shenxiao Dao. I'll give you a real award. The little cleverness of this junior is nothing compared to the great wisdom of my seniors. She glanced at him and thought to herself, this Cai Jing's ability to flatter others is top-notch. No wonder he can win Zhao Ji's trust and favor as the leader of the 6 thieves. What Prime Minister Cai said is true. If the real person is willing to take up the position of the king of the protector of the country in the Song dynasty, I will grant the title of 2 counties to the real person, and it will definitely be a large county with a rich population. Although Zhao Ji is mediocre, he is not stupid. Naturally, we can hear the benefits of Cai Jing's words to the Song dynasty. Zhen, the position of Lord Protector of the country is a more prominent position than the 3 princes. He enjoys the boundless luck of our Song dynasty. With this help, not only can Zhen's cultivation level be improved rapidly, but also the sect established by Zhen can be protected. Passed down from generation to generation, it lasts for thousands of generations. Su Junming is very clear about the benefits of luck. However, if you rely on the luck of the Song dynasty to practice, you will naturally owe the cause and effect of the Song dynasty, and you will be tied to it in the future. I heard that Zhang Chongyang, the old celestial master of celestial master Dao, was the Guo Dao lord of the Song dynasty. Exactly. Cai Jing nodded quickly. We, the Song dynasty, are a powerful country in the world. We are the kings of the way. To protect the country we cannot be qualified unless we are the most powerful people in the world. In that case, I will be disrespectful, Su Junming said calmly. Cai Jing was overjoyed, and Zhao Ji also showed joy on his face. The real person is indeed a wise man. Su Junming smiled slightly. The greatest function of luck is to assist enlightenment. However, the various avenues he has now comprehended have reached the limit that his body can bear. Unless he is willing to survive the catastrophe and physically advance to the Tai realm, there is no way he can ascend. Of course he wanted to break through the physical body, but he had to wait until his magic power also increased to the golden immortal perfection. Therefore, in the next few decades, his most important task is to assist Chongshan world and annex Jixian Shenzhou. The second step is to meditate with conviction and strive to improve your magic power to perfection as soon as possible. The luck of the Song dynasty was of no use to him. Now, Your Majesty, can you tell me which 2 counties will be entrusted to Pandao? Zhao Ji nodded. In the direct north of the Song dynasty, there were 2 large counties, namely Yanmen County which spanned 93,000 miles, and Yunzong County which spanned 83,800 miles. These 2 counties are the places I entrusted to Zhenren. In fact, on the way here, he and Cai Jing had already discussed in advance that Su Junming would get rid of Yang Ye at the cost of giving Su Junming a fiefdom in Yanmen County. Yunzong County is also one of the alternatives. He would speak naturally without any hesitation. Su Junming's face suddenly darkened. Could Your Majesty be playing tricks on me? Why did the real person say this? His Majesty just said that the land granted to Pandao is a populated and wealthy land, and Yanmen County and Yunzong County are located on the border between Song and Liao dynasties. They have been at war all year round. The combined population of one county is not as much as that of a large government in the Central Plains. If a poor Taoist takes over the land of these 2 mansions, wouldn't he be ridiculed by Taoists all over the world? After hearing this, Zhao Ji also realized that he was indeed a little unreasonable. However, if it were not a remote place with little oil and water, he would not be willing to give it to Su Junming. Moreover, the reason why he and Cai Jing chose Yanmen and Yunzong had another plan. With the help of Su Junming, a powerful golden immortal with both martial arts skills, he resisted the Liao kingdom's southern invasion. If this plan could work, the imperial court would be able to save nearly 10 million border troops and astronomical military expenditures. It can be said to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But Yunzong and Yanmen are too dry. Seeing that Su Junming was going back on his word, Zhao Ji secretly looked at Cai Jing for help. This whole set of strategies came from Prime Minister Cai, so he naturally asked for help from this Minister of Humility. After signaling Zhao Ji to be calm, if the real person is not satisfied, we can seal Wuyuan County to the real person as well. Why don't you entrust Zhuofang County to me as well, Su Junming said sarcastically. These 4 counties bordered the Liao kingdom and the Song dynasty. Giving 3 of them to him and letting him become a barrier between Song and Liao, and blocking the Liao southern invasion, is too obvious. Cai Jing smiled and said, if the real person is not satisfied, we can. No, I want these 3 counties. Seeing the surprised looks in their eyes, Su Junming smiled lightly and didn't say much. The goal was achieved, and Zhao Ji and Cai Jing did not ask any more questions. Then leave everything to the real person. Su Junming waved his hand, and the earth vein dragon energy flew towards Cai Jing. The latter quickly asked for help, but his expression suddenly changed and he almost didn't fall down. It looks like a ball the size of a goose egg, but it weighs so much. Master, when will we solve that Yang yet? He cares more about this than the earth vein dragon energy. Don't worry, you will never see him again after today. This couldn't be better. Zhao Ji and Cai Jing were delighted. If there is nothing else, I will send you out. Master Yao Lao. Su Junming waved his sleeves, and an invisible force enveloped the 2 of them and sent them out. Zhao Ji and Cai Jing felt their eyes blurred, and when they looked again, they had reached the stone platform where their carriage was parked. See your majesty. The surrounding forbidden troops saluted quickly. Your majesty, you are back. How is your trip going? A soft voice also sounded. Haha, my beloved, everything went smoothly, very smoothly. After solving the worries, you no longer have to worry about someone dictating how you sit, lie down, or move. You no longer worry about the fact that someone is always ready to beat you unconscious with the golden whip given by Teju. You no longer have to worry about sleeping with your beauty in your arms in the morning. Even if I sleep too late, I will be frightened and scolded as lazy government. Zhao Ji felt that all the bones in his body were lighter by 3 ounces, and he felt comfortable all over. The slave family congratulates the official family. He hugged the beauty and was about to caress her when he saw Cai Jing suddenly take action. A black light spread out. The expressions of the surrounding imperial guards froze and they fell softly. Zhao Ji looked surprised. Xiang Cai, what do you mean? Your Majesty, except for you and me, and the imperial concubine, no one can know that Yang Ye came to Huanglong Mountain with you and me. Otherwise, when Teju is blamed, you and I will not be able to bear it. Zhao Ji's expression tightened. If there is anyone else in the world who scares him, it is Zhao Kuangyan, the great ancestor who founded the Song dynasty and ascended the throne of the Yellow Emperor. If this grandpa is made angry, his position as emperor will most likely be thrown off. After enjoying the supreme power represented by the 9-5 Supreme Being and controlling hundreds of millions of people, Zhao Ji did not want to lose it. Cai Xiang is still thoughtful. It is the duty of a humble minister to consider His Majesty. After Zhao Ji nodded with satisfaction, he tightened his arms around the delicate, boneless body. Did you hear that, beauty? You know this, I know it, Cai Xiang knows it, and you must not let the 4th person know about it. Your Majesty, don't worry, I'm awake. After finishing his words, he glanced at Cai Jing next to him with a hidden look. After the latter's eyes met, he quickly moved away. But in each other's eyes, there is a hint of unintelligible meaning. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 735. Looking at the scene of Zhao Ji and Cai Jing leaving in the water mirror formed by the round light technique. Master, that imperial concubine is a 6-tailed fox demon, Yu Xiang said. Although even Yang Ye, the golden immortal, could not see through the woman's spell to conceal her aura, it could not hide the phantom of the bronze mirror in his dantian. You want to kill her? Yu Xiang nodded. My master often taught me that the disciples of Chongshan sect should take it as their own duty to kill demons and punish evil. If this fox demon is allowed to cause cholera in the palace, the people of the world will suffer misfortune. Now that you've seen it with a bronze mirror, do you think she has a strong evil spirit about her? Frowning slightly, Yu Xiang shook his head slightly. Although there is evil aura, it is not serious. That fox demon is just someone else's puppet. At best, she only charms the king. She wants to bring trouble to the world. You think too highly of her. The people who ruined the Song dynasty were not others, but Zhao Ji and Cai Zheng. Killing a fox demon will not change the situation of the Song dynasty. Furthermore, the two sects of Buddhism and Taoism in Chixian County are high above. The emperors and generals regard ordinary people as cattle and horses, and wantonly exploit them. They will continue after old age and death without end. The demons of Jin and Liao are killing human beings wantonly, but there is no one. Discipline. It's time for the order of this world to change. Yu Xiang nodded in agreement. He has also used the human soul divine gate to travel to the lower realm of Shu Mountain, as well as the Chongshan world and the Chinese world, Nine Uncle world, through the projection of the divine soul. The latter is fine, but any world under the control of Chongshan Academy cannot be called a world of great harmony where everyone can read and keep warm. But as long as you want to study, you can study, as long as you work hard, you can have enough to eat and even live a good life. Even ordinary people can impeach powerful people. It was a world that Yu Xiang had never seen before, a world where people's wisdom was truly enlightened, where everyone could make progress, and where everyone could make progress. In comparison, Chixian Shenzhou is just like his ancestor said, a decadent old world that needs to be changed. Master, if that's the case, why didn't you choose two counties with a large population as the fiefdom of our Chongshan Academy? By then, we can let the people live a good life earlier, so that they will not be oppressed by the Song dynasty again. I think so too. But if that's the case, I'm afraid the Taoist sects in the world will rise up to oppose it. With the courage of Zhao Ji and his ministers, they definitely don't have the courage to compete with the world. By then, the fiefdom issue will probably come to nothing. On the contrary, it is the three counties of Yanmen, Yunzong, and Wuyuan. Everyone knows that they are located on the border of Song and Liao. They have been warred all year round and the people are in decline. The population of one county is not as large as that of a large government in the Central Plains, and it also faces the threat of the Liao Kingdom. If our Chongshan Academy takes over this place, not only will we not be attacked by Taoist sects all over the world, but we will become a laughing stock in their mouths. Everyone will feel that we were tricked by the Song dynasty. We were used as a barrier on the border between Song and Liao. Su Junming had a smile on his face. However, they have forgotten. In the era when Huangdi, Taihao, Deu, and others unified Chixian and China, the three counties of Yanmen, Yunzong, and Wuyuan were also densely populated, where chickens and dogs herd each other, and the people lived in peace and prosperity. The land is no worse than Zhongyuan Prefecture and County. Yu Xiang's eyes lit up. Master is still wise. As long as we block the Liao Kingdom, the three counties will be restored to their previous state. With the strength shown by his ancestor, he would definitely be able to stop the Liao Kingdom. Moreover, the Chongshan sect is not the only one with the patriarch himself. The fifth patriarch is also a golden immortal. Children can be taught. The population of the three counties is not large, and it just so happens that our Chongshan Academy does not have many people in this area. If there are too many people, we will not be able to control them. After years of fighting, there are no Taoist sects here, and all the wealthy families have disappeared. Those who remain are ordinary people, like a blank sheet of paper, which is just convenient for us to draw. After 100 years, we will be able to accumulate the power to change the world. Yu Xiang nodded, looking at the patriarch with deep respect in his eyes. Master, I just saw Zhao Ji's intentions. If we ask for Shuofang County, they will not refuse. Why did you give up in the end? Haha, 3 counties are the most suitable, any more would be too much. Moreover, Shuofang County borders Xixia, and our foundation is weak now. I don't want to provoke those monks yet. As soon as he finished speaking, he made a few finger gestures. Yang Ye's shadow appeared in the water mirror in mid-air. At this moment, he was sitting on the stone bench outside the bamboo building with a strong look on his face, with an angry expression and a struggling look on his face. However, no matter how much he resisted, he could not get away from the stone bench, let alone move even half an inch. Chongshanju is the dojo where Su Junming has practiced for hundreds of years. Basically, whatever level of magic weapon he can refine, Chongshanju will be of that level. Coupled with the suppression of the 2 middle-grade innate spiritual treasures of Tiangong Divine Furnace and Creation Spirit Pond, there is no treasure stronger than it in the entire Qi County Divine State. Not to mention Yang Ye, a golden immortal, even 10 or 8 more people would still be able to suppress him. Master asked Zhao Jiajun and his ministers to send General Yang's family here, but do you plan to hand him over to 4th Master Uncle? Su Junming nodded slightly. This Yang Ye has a loyal and upright temperament, and it is even rarer that he has the cultivation of a golden immortal. Rather than being tricked to death by that pair of monarchs and ministers in the future, it is better for him to be captured by me first. From now on, let him go to Chongshan world to continue his cultivation. With his temperament, he may not be able to be used by our Chongshan Academy, Yu Xiang said. Haha, it doesn't matter. Besides, without him, we will have one less stumbling block when we integrate the Song dynasty in the future. Xiang the disciple is here. You take him to the White Tiger Palace first, and after Zhao Ji delivers the Yang family, he will be sent to your 4th master together. Disciple, obey. When it comes to matters that are beneficial to themselves, Zhao Ji and Cai Jing are very efficient. However, members of the Yang family, especially several of Yang Ye's heirs, all died in the battle with Jin Liao in their early years. But Tai Junjie, Yang Yanzhao, and Yang Wengang who survived were also masters of becoming true immortals. Although he is not as good as Yang Ye, who is known as Yang Invincible, he is not mediocre either. However, even Zhe Taijun, who was a perfect immortal, was nothing more than a mantis in front of the huge Song dynasty court. Zhao Ji personally used dragon energy to suppress it, and Cai Jing also personally arrested him. 3 days later, they sent all the Yang family members to Huanglong Mountain and handed them over to Yu Xiang, who had been waiting here for a long time. Fellow Taoist Yu, there are a total of 314 disciples in Yang Ye's 5th server, and they are all here. After checking Master's list one by one, he nodded. I would like Prime Minister Cai to make a trip in person. Cai Jing's face was full of smiles. Of course I have to do whatever the real person orders me to do myself. Yu Xiang smiled lightly. Master asked me to tell Prime Minister Cai that it is best to tell the world about the fiefdom after he gives a lecture. Easy to say, easy to say. Then the real person will appoint me as the Guo Daijun of the Great Song dynasty. Everything is arranged by His Majesty and Prime Minister Cai. Haha, that's really great. Cai Jing's face was filled with joy, his eyes flashed, and he asked carefully, after your majesty returned to the palace a few days ago, he decided to hold an inauguration ceremony for the real person as the king of the protector of the country. I wonder if the real person will be able to attend. My master, the golden immortal queen of Qingyang Mountain, who has broken through the realm, is in seclusion to stabilize her realm. Last time, she would not have left seclusion unless His Majesty came in person. Therefore, I will not go to the ceremony this time. In addition, my master asked me to inform Prime Minister Cai, the ceremony wastes people and money, so it's okay not to do it. Cai Jing instantly showed admiration. The real person is indeed worthy of being a true cultivator and has a kind heart. Cai really admires him very much. After returning to the palace, he will definitely advise your majesty to cancel the ceremony and use the saved silver coins to provide relief to Bian Liang in the name of the real person poor. Judging from his expression, Yu Xiang had to admit it. This person's ability to flatter someone is absolutely top-notch in the world. And it's not annoying in any way. Then I will thank Prime Minister Cai on behalf of my master. Haha, fellow Taoist you're welcome. Turning his left palm, an iron order wrapped in thunder appeared. There is a saying, red pink is given to beauties, and swords are given to heroes. This purple thunder iron token is a thunder weapon forbidden by the three immortals. I have sought it out in many ways and spent a lot of effort to get it. I give it to you today. Fellow Taoist, I hope you can accept it. He took the iron order and took a look. Sure enough, it was a thunder weapon that was forbidden by the three immortals. Because the Thunder Dao immortal weapon is difficult to refine and is extremely powerful, it is a treasure that everyone wants to obtain for any monk below the immortal Dao. However, his ancestor is the master of the weapon refining method. The treasure given is countless times more exquisite than this purple thunder iron order. Throw it back casually. No reward for no merit. Since Prime Minister Cai worked so hard to get it, it is inconvenient for Yu Xiang to stay. After activating his magic power, he lifted up everyone in the Yang family. I will take them to return their lives to our master, so I won't see Prime Minister Cai off. I'll take my leave. Yu Dao, please go away friendly. Watching Yu Xiang go away, the smile on Cai Jing's face gradually faded, and his expression gradually darkened. After looking into the depths of Huanglong Mountain, he activated his escape light and disappeared into the distance. Pleasure aside, this Cai Jing is also a talent. Su Junming waved his sleeves, and the water mirror beside him slowly disappeared. You also said that you should put aside your happiness. The Dragon Emperor said calmly. 100 years have passed, and the Dragon Emperor, who was once in the early stage of Xianxian, has advanced to the middle stage with the support of the elixir provided by Su Junming. Now it has reached the midterm breakthrough to the late stage. If it weren't for the fear of unstable foundations, we would have broken through a few years ago. Forget it, let's not talk about him. Since Xiao Huanger has broken through Xianxian and has a person in charge of the sealing formation in Shushan world, you can stay in Lingkong immortal world. The Dragon Emperor nodded. At this time, Yu Xiang walked in. See Master and Third Master, Yang Yes family has been brought here. Take them to the teleportation hall and hand them over to your fourth master, including Yang Ye. Yes. Looking at the departing figure, the Dragon Emperor said, this boy is quite good. When it comes to monastic qualifications, he is still inferior to his three younger brothers. I'm afraid that's why you took him with you to teach you, right? Haha, after all, I have watched him grow up. He has deep feelings after all, so we can't watch him lag behind others. Besides, my Chongshan sect focuses on character first, and qualifications second. After looking at him, the Dragon Emperor said nothing more. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 736. The days passed quickly, and as the time for preaching approached, monks from all over Qi County and China gathered in Huanglong Mountain. Everyone wants to see what this golden immortal who was able to defeat the 3 great witch generals of Nanzhao Kingdom looks like as soon as he was born. Of course, it is a rare opportunity for Jingxian to preach, and many true Taoists also hope to be helpful. Coupled with the people who want to become disciples, the crowd is even bigger. The Song dynasty's edict naming him the king of the great way of protecting the country only added fuel to the flames and made the title of true Lord Chongshan even more widely known. Considering the 300 to 400 billion people in China in Qi County, there are hundreds of millions of monks. Within 3 months, 20 to 30 million people came to Huanglong Mountain. And more than half of them are middle-level monks in the Yuanying and Yuanshen realms. Thousands of monks gathered again, but the Huanglong Mountain 300 miles away was almost full of people. From the beginning of the world to the present, this lonely hill above the plain has never been so lively as it is now. Although the monks are aloof, they are still human beings, and conflicts can easily arise when there are too many people. Looking at the large and small fighting skills in the water mirror transformed by the round light technique, the Dragon Emperor frowned. They are all here for you anyway. If you don't control them and let them fight, it will ruin the reputation of this sermon. Su Junming nodded. We really can't let them get too presumptuous. With a thought in his heart, he no longer restrained his momentum. In an instant, a domineering and earth-shattering invisible energy spread from the main peak of Huanglong Mountain. The powerful aura, like an angry wave, rolled over everyone. The boundless and vast momentum also shocked everyone. Within a moment, everyone within a radius of thousands of miles was enveloped by his momentum, except for Bianliang in Tokyo, which was protected by the Imperial Dragon energy. During the sermon, no one is allowed to act arrogantly, otherwise he will be severely punished. The vast sound resounded throughout the world. What a strong aura, indeed worthy of being the golden immortal. A middle-aged man wearing a red robe, a golden crown on his head, and two dragon horns protruding from his forehead could not help but sigh when he felt the vast and powerful aura in the air. Next to him, a middle-aged man wearing a blue robe and having dragon horns said, "The newly promoted golden immortal is not that strong. Zhenjun Chongshan is indeed a master of both martial arts and martial arts. He can kill the master of the three caves in Nanzhao with one sword. It would be great if I had such cultivation." The person who spoke was a man in purple robe. It's better to advance to the late stage of Xianxian first and then talk about it. The middle-aged man wearing a yellow robe and having dragon horns on his head smiled. Red, blue, purple, and yellow, except for their clothes and looks, they are all very similar. The dragon energy all over their bodies and the dragon horns on their foreheads also indicate their identities. Hey, look. The three of them looked up subconsciously. In a ray of blue light, three women with thin waists and tassels, golden steps on their heads, and picturesque features slowly flew in from the west. The three fairies of Kongming Mountain. Kongming Mountain is located in Bihai. It is one of the 5 immortal areas in Qi County, China's 3 mountains and 4 seas. It's called a mountain, but it's actually an island stretching nearly 1,000,000 miles across. There are 2 female fairies on the island, both of whom are golden immortals. They are called the Mother of Golden Light and the Mother of Golden Cloud. The entire Kongming Mountain is their dojo. The 3 fairies of Kongming Mountain are the 3 best among their direct disciples. He also has little reputation in the spiritual world. Longzi from the 4 seas of the southeast, northwest, and now the 3 immortals of Kongming Mountain, plus the 4 little saints of Penglai Island, and the 2 of us, the second generation of the direct descendants of the 3 mountains and 4 seas is complete. A tall and thin middle-aged man wearing a black robe smiled. The man in white robe standing next to him echoed. True monarch Chongshan is a golden immortal, and he is very powerful. Except for Jin, Liao, and Nanzhao, it is estimated that the other sects will send people to congratulate him. Not to mention how many connections he has made, at least he cannot leave any bad feelings. After nodding in agreement, why don't you see anyone from the 4 great gates of the Central Plains? I guess they will come with their golden immortal patriarch. The man in black robe was surprised and said, "Will Tianchi Tao, Kongtong sect, Shenxiao Tao, and Chunyang sect send the golden immortal patriarch here?" Of course. They are different from us. We are overseas cultivators. We only need to establish a good relationship with true monarch Chongshan. And looking at the attitude of this new golden immortal, it is obvious that he plans to use the sermon to establish a section. If it were an ordinary newly promoted golden immortal, it would be easy for the four Dao sects to join forces and suppress them. However, Su Zhenjun, a dual cultivator of both martial arts and Dao, almost killed the master of the third cave in the Nanzhao kingdom with his blood as soon as he was born. With all his strength, in addition to the celestial master Dao, no one can compare to it. Since we can't suppress it, of course we have to discuss it carefully and redivide our respective spheres of influence to avoid enmity. Junior brother still sees things thoroughly, the man in black robe admired. Senior brother, that's wonderful. I'm just a little more ingenious. In terms of cultivation aptitude and understanding, I'm not as good as senior brother. Haha, junior brother is too modest. In the entire cultivation world, no one knows your honorific title of Little Zudge. Just as the man in white robe was about to speak and continue, his whole body suddenly sank, and he was suppressed by an indescribable aura. The two looked at each other and looked into the distance. But in the distant sky, four huge spiritual boats were seen approaching. Each spirit boat has a different shape, but the coercion it exudes is the same. The vast spiritual light spreads out, possessing an indescribable majesty. Seeing them, everyone instantly understood that people from the four great sects of the Central Plains were coming. Only they have this large-scale magic boat that consumes endless materials to refine. The Dharma boat slowly came to a stop at the top of Huanglong Mountain. Four powerful escaping lights flew out from the Dharma boat and fled straight towards Huanglong Mountain. Feeling the aura of escaping light, it was obvious that he was a golden immortal. Junior brother, you really have a clever plan. The man in black robe admired him. The man in white robe smiled, then sighed. It's a pity that we only have Master in Suandu Mountain to support the overall situation. Kongming Mountain and Penglai Mountain are feuding. Otherwise, if the three of us join forces, we will definitely be able to withstand the pressure of the four great gates of the Central Plains, and develop in this most elite place in Qi County, China. A foundation. The man in black robe fell silent. Among the three overseas mountains, only Kongming Mountain has two golden immortals. Suandu Mountain and Penglai Mountain each have one golden immortal. Although he dominates the overseas cultivation world, he cannot get involved in the Central Plains at all. Although the overseas cultivation world covers a vast territory, its population is not at the same level as that of the Central Plains. Without enough people, we cannot get enough outstanding disciples. Without enough outstanding disciples, the sect will not be able to grow, and there will not be enough luck. Without enough luck, if you want to cultivate a golden immortal, you can only rely on luck. Therefore, for tens of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years, the golden immortals of Tianqi Tao, Chunyang sect, Kongtong sect, and Shenxiao Tao have continued from generation to generation. As for Sangxian Mountain overseas, I will appear on stage after you sing. In the final analysis, we are still not strong enough. If we in Kongmingshan are like Zhenjun Chongshan, with dual cultivation of martial arts, and one person can compete with a sect, or even several sects, there will definitely be a place for us in this Central Plains. The black-robed man wrote. What senior brother said is true. However, from ancient times to the present, there have been nearly 1,000 golden immortals in Chixian Shenzhou, but he is the only one who has practiced both martial arts and Taoism like Zhenjun Chongshan and has reached the golden immortal realm. The man in black robe nodded and sighed deeply. True Lord Chongshan Su Junming is truly an anomaly. Today, the child is celebrating his 100th birthday and there is only one update. I will definitely be able to resume the second update tomorrow. If I have more time later, I will update the third update. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 737. Chapter 718, The Best Spiritual Tea, Red Jade Divine Mulberry. In the hall of Chongshan residence, Su Junming and Dragon Emperor looked at each other and understood each other. The people are indeed here. Su Junming smiled lightly. You should stay away for a while, I will deal with them. After the Dragon Emperor nodded, his figure disappeared instantly. Su Junming stood up and walked out. When 4 golden immortals came, he had to welcome them both emotionally and rationally. When they arrived outside Chongshan residence, they saw Yu Xiang walking over with 4 people. 3 of them are acquaintances of Qingyang Mountain. Pure Yang Sword Saint Li Wuji. Zhang Xiaoyang, the Wuji Celestial Master of Celestial Master Dao. Lin Ling Su, the Taoist priest of Shenxiao. The only stranger was an old Taoist wearing a soap-colored Taoist robe, with 3 strands of long beard on his chin, holding a floating dust in his hand, and a smile on his face. Zhu Hazai, the leader of the Kongtong sect, Yuan Miao Taoist. Everyone, come here, my small place is full of brilliance. Haha, fellow Daoist Su is so proud of himself. If these spiritually rich cave heavens and blessed places are cramped places, there will be no blessed places in this world, Li Wuji said with a smile. What fellow Daoist Li said is true. I believe that the Dharma net in fellow Daoist cave is very strict and has many restrictions. Even the Yellow Emperor's immortal court cannot compare to this place, Zhang Xiaoyang said. Su Junming smiled faintly and turned his eyes. Is this fellow Daoist Zhu from the Kongtong sect? Zhu Hazai has met fellow Taoist Su, and congratulates fellow Taoist for arriving at the Golden Immortal Realm. There is another fellow disciple among our generation, and there is also a healthy person among the righteous path. Fellow Daoist Zhu Miaosan, please come with me. Su Junming was in front, leading the 4 of them to the living room of the bamboo house to do it. Looking at everything around them, the 4 of them exchanged glances with each other, and saw the caution in each other's eyes. Apparently they also sensed the extremely powerful forbidden law in this bamboo tower. This method is so powerful that even they, as golden immortals, feel deeply depressed. Please sit down. Compared with the uneasiness of Zhao Ji and his ministers before, Zhang Xiaoyang and the 4 of them all lifted up the hems of their robes and sat down. In an instant, a wisp of red energy turned into a futon, firmly supporting the bodies of the 4 people. A faint feeling of warmth poured into the body from the futon. While the whole body felt comfortable, the spirit was also shaken. Li Wuji's eyes widened. Pure Yang Taoism. Fellow Taoist is also proficient in the Pure Yang method. Su Junming smiled and said, I know a little bit about it, but I can't compare to my Taoist friends. Friend Taoist, you are humbled. If you know something small, you should have a good discussion with Taoist friends in the future. Fellow Daoist Li doesn't mind me being humble, so I have no problem discussing the Tao. As he finished speaking, he waved his hand casually, and a tea table carved from tree roots appeared in front of him, complete with teapots, teacups, etc. He stretched out his hand and a stream of rootless water condensed from the void. He snapped his fingers with his right hand, and the flame started, quickly heating the water to a boiling state. A flash of light from his left hand opened the seal on the jade box next to him, and a faint scent of tea came out. After opening it, the inside is golden yellow, translucent, and has tea teeth like top agate. I took 5 and put them into 5 teacups respectively. With a thought in his heart, the heated water split into 5 bundles and gurgled down. As soon as the 2 touched each other, the aroma of tea that soaked the heart and mind spread instantly. Li Wuji, Zhang Xiaoyang, and others were shocked and looked at the tea with secret shock in their hearts. Top quality spiritual tea. Su Junming smiled slightly, flicked his fingers, and divided the 4 cups of tea into the hands of 4 people. The name of this tea is Jin Yinang. I have cultivated it for many years. The 4 of you can taste it. In the entire Qi County Shenzhou, there are only 3 kinds of top quality fairy teas. In addition to Tianqi Tao's Durian Crisp, Huangdi's Huangye from Huangdi's Fairy Ting is the landing in the hands of the Dragon King of the West Sea. The 3 teas are very valuable. Even we have only tasted it a few times in thousands of years, and we never thought that we would have such a good taste in Taoist friends. It is really amazing, Li Wuji said. What fellow Taoist said is true. The last time I tasted this kind of spiritual tea was 800 years ago, when fellow Taoist Zhang became a golden immortal and the celestial master Taoist held the immortal ascension ceremony. Zhu Hezai sighed. Zhang Xiaoyang smiled and nodded. Although he has the best spiritual tea at home, it only grows once 1,000 years, so he can't drink it often. Although Lin Lingsu was smiling, she was a little surprised in her heart at how rich this new true immortal was. Coupled with the previous conflict in Qingyang Mountain, it will be even more difficult to get Tianlei Hong from this person. Su Junming smiled. There are only 3 kinds of top-grade immortal tea in the entire Qi County Shenzhou, and he, who is sitting on the middle-grade innate spiritual treasure creation spiritual pond, has 3 of them himself. Kui Liasu green tea, Hungry Jin black tea, and Jin Yinang golden tea. Since good tea is rare, the 4 of you might as well try it. Fellow Taoist, what I said deeply touched my heart. Everyone, if I continue, I will already be drooling over the fragrance of tea. You're welcome. After speaking, Li Wuji picked up the teacup and took a sip. After drinking the hot tea soup, a strong spiritual energy melted in the stomach. In an instant, I felt that all the large and small orifices all over my body were opening, and an indescribable feeling of relief surged into my heart. My mind suddenly became clear and my mind was as clear as ever. Subconsciously comprehending Chunyang, the previously obscure principles were actually right before his eyes. Not only Li Wuji, but also Lin Lingsu, Zhang Xiaoyang, and Zhu Hezai all entered the path of enlightenment. Seeing a 12-foot-long cloud rising 3 feet above the heads of the 4 people, the clouds swelled, and soon a green lotus appeared. Lin Lingsu and Zhang Xiaoyang's Qinglian only have the 3rd grade, while Li Wuji and Zhu Hezai have the 6th grade. Obviously, the latter 2 have higher cultivation levels and have already entered the middle stage of Golden Immortal. Each of the 4 green lotuses holds a cool Taoist fruit, which is tied to their Taoist deeds. The best spiritual tea has the ability to enhance understanding and assist enlightenment, but it is also extremely limited. 9 moments later, the 4 of them woke up at the same time. Looking at the expressions of regret on their faces, then looking at the teacups in their hands and the jade box with tea leaves on Su Junming's table, there was a look of envy on their faces. Fellow Taoist is indeed very lucky. No wonder he can cultivate both martial arts and Tao and reach the peak at the same time, Li Wuji sighed. Su Junming smiled faintly, patted the gourd on his waist, and the teacups in the hands of the 4 people on the tea table were put in at the same time. This is the best spiritual tea. Giving them a drink shows how well you treat guests. Fellow Taoist Myosin, if you want my spiritual tea, it's not impossible. Li Wuji's eyes lit up and he blurted out. Do you, fellow Taoist Su, really mean what you said? The 3 people around them also looked surprised. Is there such a good thing? Su Junming saw it and understood that these guys wanted to have free food. Smile slightly. Of course. But fellow Taoists, you have to exchange it for something else. The expressions of the 4 people darkened instantly. Feelings are happy in vain. However, this is the best fairy tea, and I can't even change it if I want to. After Li Wuji calmed down, he said, I wonder what you want? A spiritual treasure, an immortal weapon, or an herbal immortal root? Su Junming smiled and said, from the time I entered Taoism to now, I like to collect various herbal fairy roots. As long as they are precious, I don't care whether they live or die. However, if life is worth 10 points, death is worth only 3 points. 1 tael of low-grade immortal root and top-quality immortal tea, 3 taels of medium-grade immortal root, 7 taels of high-grade immortal root, and 1 pound of top-grade immortal root. Although the best fairy tea can improve his understanding, now his understanding of various principles has reached the limit that his body can improve, and there is no need for it at all. If distributed to disciples, the bronze mirror would be more useful than these top-quality fairy teas. Only some named disciples whom he valued, such as Our Lady of the Golden Needle, the three heroes of Kilo, Qiankong, etc., would share some of the profits. But with the blessing of the rich spiritual energy of Creation Spirit Island, my three best fairy tea plants can produce 900 kilograms in 300 years. Even if some were given away, there would still be a lot left. It used to be able to assist in enlightenment, but now drinking it almost only has the effect of using the spiritual energy in it to increase mana. What a waste. In this case, it is better to exchange something useful for yourself. After that, Liwiji didn't think about it at all. Opening his left hand, a jade box emerged. Fellow Taoist, please take a look. After pinching a few seals and opening them, rich pure yang essence rose into the sky. A dry branch slowly rises. The branches that were originally no bigger than a short one quickly expanded and turned into a giant tree that was 30 feet long and nearly 6 feet in diameter at its widest point. It was dark red and wrapped with countless pure yang energy. This is a branch that fell from the red jade mulberry root of our Chunyang section. As we all know, the red jade mulberry is the best among the best immortal roots. I wonder if this can be exchanged for Taoist friends' spiritual tea. Su Junming had come to Chixian Shenzhou for many years, and he had also heard of the reputation of the Chunyang sect's spiritual root red jade divine mulberry. It is said that this tree is thousands of feet tall. It was planted by Lu Dongbin, the founder of the Chunyang sect, and it stands in the center of the cave of the Chunyang sect. It is the formation I of the Chunyang sect's protective formation, the Chunyang Wuji formation. This divine mulberry tree was born with the innate pure yang energy. Not only is the tree hard and can be used to refine immortal weapons, but it can also produce 3,000 mulberries every 1,000 years. The strange thing is that the red jade mulberry is a pure yang thing, but the mulberry is indeed a pure yin treasure. Moreover, mulberry can also neutralize the hyperactive yang energy accumulated by the Chunyang school through practicing the Chunyang manual to achieve the purpose of harmonizing yin and yang. It is the magic of the red jade divine mulberry that allows the Chunyang sect to continue to grow and develop and become the four great sects it is today. Looking at the branch in Liwiji's hand, it was obvious that it was a dead branch cut off from the body of red jade Shensang. In fact, within the Chunyang sect, there has always been a tradition of using red jade sacred mulberry branches to refine natal magic weapons. This thing can only exchange for 1 pound of spiritual tea for me. Fellow Taoist, could you please add more? Although my mulberry branch is a dead thing, it is huge in size. If I use it to refine treasures, I am sure that I can produce several top-quality pure yang immortal weapons. Su Junming shook his head. Fellow Taoist, what you said is wrong. Nowadays, there are no weapon refiners in Chixian Shenzhou who can refine the best immortal weapons. Unless I am willing to spend hundreds of years to practice the method of cultivating the natal magic weapon, otherwise this mulberry branch will never become the best immortal weapon. We are not fools. If the best immortal weapons were so easy to obtain, they would not be called the treasures of the sect or the country. That's right. In Chixian Shenzhou, the best immortal weapons can suppress luck and are extremely rare. There are people like Su Junming who can refine top-quality immortal weapons by themselves, which is an anomaly. Since the emergence of cultivation in Shenzhou in Qi County until now, there have only been a few of them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 738. Chapter 719, 2 Exchanges, Innate Spiritual Roots. Li Wuji didn't know that Su Junming had the ability to practice the best immortal weapons, so he smiled coquettishly. Fellow Taoist, please add more. This mulberry branch of mine is a top-grade fairy material for refining top-grade fairy weapons. If fellow Taoist has spiritual water in his hand, it is impossible to feed it, and it will be a top-grade fairy root. Su Junming shook his head. Let's not talk about how much spiritual water is needed to feed this dead branch. In the end, even if it can be fed, it will only be a mid-grade immortal root at most, which is far from the red jade divine mulberry of your section. Liwiji smiled and said nothing. If the red jade mulberry tree was so easy to cultivate, there would not have been only one like this in the entire Qi County, China for tens of thousands of years. Well, I really like this mulberry branch. I'll give you another 2 taels. If you agree, we will exchange it. If you don't agree, forget it. Just follow what fellow Taoist Su said. Liwiji said quickly. Things are rare and valuable, and for him, mulberry branches can be obtained as long as he wants to, but the best spiritual tea is different. Regardless of whether it is Tianqi Dao, Huangdi Xianting or Zihai Dragon Palace, they are all very precious to their respective spiritual teas. Unless they have a great friendship, they can't even hope to get a couple of cents. Su Junming grabbed 1 pound and 2 taels of golden yunnan from the jade box where the spiritual tea was previously stored, and handed it to Liwiji. Holding their favorite treasures in their hands, both parties felt that they had made a profit. As far as Liwiji is concerned, with the help of this spiritual tea, he will be able to improve his Taoism by a big step in at most 100 years, paving the way to the late golden immortal stage. Switching to Su Junming, the innate spiritual energy provided by the mid-grade innate spiritual treasure creation spirit pond can not only revive the mulberry branch, but also maintain its grade. As long as there is enough spiritual energy to replenish it, it will not be difficult to catch up with or even surpass the Chunyang Sex Academy Shensang in the future. Seeing the successful exchange between the two, Zhang Xiaoyang, Zhu Hezai, and Lin Lingsu all showed envy on their faces. The best spiritual tea, only after drinking it can you know how precious it is. In the entire Chixian Shenzhou, there is only one kind of treasure that can improve Taoism. There is no other treasure. The opportunity is rare and no one wants to miss it. However, not everyone is like Liwiji, who carries the branch of Genpai immortal root with him everywhere. Fellow Taoist Su, I don't have a suitable spiritual root exchange for the time being, but our Kongtong sect has been established for hundreds of thousands of years, and there are many immortal roots in our section. The Genman immortal root purple spirit immortal apricot is no less than the best quality red jade divine mulberry. Immortal roots. If fellow Taoists are willing, after the sermon, I will immediately go back to Kongtong Mountain to break off a main branch and exchange it with fellow Taoists. How about that? Seeing Zhu Hezai's eager expression, Su Junming smiled and nodded. Everything is as Taoist friend said. The former's face instantly showed joy. Thank you, fellow Taoist. Zhang Xiaoyang didn't say anything. He, the Tianqi Taoist, had his own spiritual tea, so he didn't need to bother exchanging it for 1.5 pounds. Finally, Lin Lingsu was left. This man openly plotted against himself in Qingyang Mountain. If he had not been powerful, the witch god's battle axe would have been taken away by the 3 witches Si Zhan, Zhong Wen, and Lai Shi Lao. Although for the sake of the overall situation of annexing Chixian Shenzhou, it is not easy to touch Shen Xiao Dao for the time being, and he must be taught a lesson. Snapped. When the jade box is closed, the faint fragrance of tea disappears instantly. This obvious attitude of rejection instantly made Lin Lingsu's face drop. Thinking of the discussion I had with my senior brother when I came here, I took a deep breath. Fellow Taoist Su, what happened at Qingyang Mountain was the wrong thing done by Pandao. I hope that fellow Taoist can put aside the past grudges and forgive me. Seeing him apologizing in public, Su Junming naturally would not deliberately make things difficult. But if you want to smooth over the conflicts between the two parties with a few words of apology, you can only say that you are overthinking it. You don't have to be like this, fellow Taoist Lin. We all have different positions that day. There is no major conflict. Please get up quickly. Fellow Taoist Su is indeed worthy of me as a Taoist master. He is magnanimous and heartwarming. Friend Taoist Lin said wonderfully, Pandeo is also a Taoist, so we can be considered as members of the same section since we are members of the same sect. Of course we require common ground while reserving differences and being tolerant. Looking at the smiling faces of the two people, those who didn't know it really thought that they were old friends who had known each other for many years. Seeing this strange scene, Li Wuji, Zhang Xiaoyang, and Zhu Hezai, who had matured into mature men, exchanged glances and wisely did not speak. Fellow Taoist Su, do you know that the spiritual root of my Shenxiao Daojhan sect is the Shenxiao 5 Thunder Pine? The reputation of Chixian Shenzhou Thunder Road's #1 spiritual root is natural. I have heard of it. Su Junming nodded. My sect is willing to exchange the basic body of Shengxiao's 5 Thunder Pine spirits with fellow Taoists for the low-grade innate spiritual treasure Tian Lei Bang. Fellow Taoist, I'm afraid I've misunderstood. I don't have the innate spiritual treasure you mentioned in my hand. Fellow Taoist, why should I hide it? As we all know, the heavenly thunder explosion was the portable spiritual treasure of the Emperor of Heaven, Xia Hao. Later, after he used this treasure to kill Si Shaiji, he used the heavenly thunder explosion to suppress Si Shaiji's physical body. Although Taoist fellow Daoist made great efforts to overcome the tribulation that day. But fellow Daoist Zhang had a high-grade immortal weapon, the peeping mirror, which could see all over China in Qi County. We clearly saw Si Shaiji being captured by fellow Taoist that day. In this way, Tian Li Boom naturally fell into the hands of fellow Taoist. Su Junming looked at Zhang Xiaoyang. I never thought that my fellow Taoist would have such an immortal weapon. Accidental gain. Zhang Xiaoyang didn't say much, obviously not wanting to get involved in the dispute between the two factions. Fellow Taoist Lin, I've already told you, I don't have the thunderbolt you want here. Moreover, if you want to exchange a Shenxiao 5 Thunder Pine for an innate spiritual treasure, your sect is too greedy. His eyes were fixed on Su Junming. What does fellow Daoist Su want? Of course innate things can only be exchanged for innate things. Let's talk if your sect can find an innate spiritual root. Do you, fellow Taoist, really mean what you say? One sentence made everyone focus on him. In Qi County, China, only two kinds of innate spiritual roots have appeared since ancient times. One is the jade dragon pear, which is now planted in Longquan Palace in the Yellow Emperor's immortal courtyard. Once it matures every 1,000 years, one pear is worth 1,000 years of hard work. It is a world-famous treasure. After Ji Xianyuan, the first Yellow Emperor, obtained it, he did not keep it to himself. Instead, every 1,000 years, on the day when the jade dragon pear matured, he would invite the golden immortals and mysterious immortals from all over the world to gather in Longquan Palace and hold the Longquan Grand Meeting. Although Ji Xianyuan later ascended to the upper world, the Longquan Grand Meeting remained and is still held today. With a history of millions of years, the Longquan event has become the most prestigious event in the Chinese spiritual practice community in Qi County. The second type is called the Xiantianzikuo. Thousands of years ago, after the Red Emperor from the Upper Realm obtained it from a cave deep in the southern wasteland, he accidentally leaked the news, causing monks from all over the world to attack. There was a big battle, and the Red Emperor of the Upper Realm died on the spot. The innate red fruit also disappeared. Except for these two, no innate spiritual roots have appeared in the entire Qi County, China. Looking at the fiery eyes of everyone, even with Lin Lingsu's character, he couldn't help but feel shocked. The Red Emperor of the Upper Realm has learned from his mistakes. If everyone knows that Shen Xiao Dao has innate spiritual roots, there will undoubtedly be another war. Quickly take out a jade box from the magic bag. This jade box is 1 foot 3 inches long, 9 inches wide and 9 inches high. 12 talismans are densely pasted on it. You can clearly sense the tyrannical sealing power emanating from the talisman without using your spiritual consciousness. Several arms formed by spiritual energy emerged from Lin Lingsu's back. In an instant, countless complicated seals poured into the jade box. Gradually, the light became stronger and stronger. Bang sound. The light dissipated, and the jade box expanded 10 times, turning into a huge jade box. Fellow Taoist Su, this thing is too big, I'm afraid it won't fit here. It doesn't matter. Su Junming waved his hand, and the room that was originally only 100 square meters in size suddenly wanted to expand in all directions. But in just a moment, it was already huge. Seeing this scene, Zhang Xiaoyang and others were instantly shocked. Li Wuji took a deep breath and turned his eyes. I never thought that Taoist Master Su's bamboo tower would be a treasure from the heavens. Su Junming smiled lightly. Fellow Taoist Lin, can you take out your things now? Lin Lingsu nodded, and after suppressing the shock in her heart, she untied the seals on the jade box one by one with her own hands. Every time the seal is released, the jade box will expand a little. After all 12 seals are dissolved, the jade box will be hundreds of feet huge. Boom! The powerful innate King Mu spiritual energy pushed the jade box open. Everyone who was flying in the air quickly looked into the box. A fluffy shrub appeared in front of me. The main branch in the middle of this shrub is the thickest and tallest, about 90 feet. The surrounding secondary branches are only half as thick and only 60 or 70 feet tall, or even shorter. All the branches added up, there are nearly 100 branches. All the branches look dry, and only the middle main branch can still see some dark green. Apparently it hasn't completely lost its life yet. But without roots, you are destined not to survive. This is the innate vermilion fruit planted by Red Emperor Liuyun back then, Zhu Hazai said in surprise. Among the four, although he did not participate in the battle, he had watched it. Lin Lingsu did not deny what was on the surface. It's a pity that our Shen Xiao Dao only got the crown of the tree, and the most important tree root was lost after being thrown into the turbulent void by Liuyun. No one doesn't believe this. If the root can be obtained, Shen Xiao Dao will never give away an innate spiritual root. Even if the properties of this spiritual fruit are not compatible with the Shen Xiao Dao technique, I still have to keep it. Innate spiritual treasures are just dead objects, but innate spiritual roots can continuously produce innate spiritual fruits, which is very important for cultivating the disciples of the sect and passing on the sect. Su Junming took a deep breath, and even used the bronze mirror to suppress all the excited emotions. Lin Lingsu turned her head. Fellow Taoist Su, how about I exchange this for your heavenly thunder? Fellow Taoist Lin is wrong. I don't have a thunderbolt, I only have a low-grade innate spiritual treasure, the heavenly thunder chisel. There is no time to argue with Su Junming. Okay, I'll exchange this thunder chisel. Su Junming slapped the gourd on his waist, and a 3-foot-long, hexagonal spike slowly flew out with flashes of lightning. Feeling the powerful innate divine thunder energy above, Lin Lingsu's expression instantly became excited. This is the treasure. Su Junming smiled faintly, stretched out his hand, and the thunder chisel fell into his palm. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 739. Fellow Taoist Lin, although I am willing to exchange with you, your innate spiritual root is just a dead thing. Unless there is enough innate spiritual energy, no amount of spiritual water can save it. Of course Lin Lingsu knew this, otherwise the Shen Xiao sect wouldn't have exchanged it with him, and he would have raised it himself. On the contrary, my heavenly thunder chisel is an innate spiritual treasure that has completed the 12 innate divine prohibitions and is intact. Therefore, if you want to get it, you can't just rely on the broken branch of the red fruit spiritual root. Lin Lingsu frowned. He knew that his conditions were indeed a little worse. What should we do according to fellow Taoist advice? I don't want much. Your sect will not only give me a main branch of the Shenxiao 5 Thunder Pine, but also give me a copy of all the fairy roots and spiritual herbs you cultivated. In addition to the techniques directly passed down by your sect, all the secret strategies in the Sutra Pavilion must be copied and given to me. Lin Lingsu frowned. There is no doubt that if he agrees, half of the foundation accumulated by Shen Xiaodao over tens of thousands of years will be divided. But he had to agree. What Su Junming wants does not damage the foundation of Shen Xiaodao. Instead, it is a thunder chisel, which will make up for Shen Xiaodao's lack of innate spiritual treasures to suppress the sect. Okay, I promise you. It's a deal. It's a deal. With a casual wave of his hand, a stream of light flew out of Su Junming's hand. Subconsciously catching it and looking at the coveted treasure, Lin Lingsu was excited and shocked. I believe that with the reputation of Shen Xiaodao, I won't let Pandao's things pass away, Su Junming said with a smile. Don't worry, fellow Daoist Su, I will send a message to senior brother and ask him to deliver what fellow Daoist wants immediately. At this moment, Lin Lingsu couldn't help but admire Su Junming's magnanimous behavior regardless of past grievances. If I had known this, I wouldn't have rashly come forward in Qingyang Mountain that day, alas. Fellow Daoist Lin, is this poor Taoist's thunder chisel real? Su Junming said. Lin Lingsu nodded quickly. With his cultivation level, he can naturally distinguish the authenticity of an innate spiritual treasure. In that case, I will take away the main branch of the red fruit. Of course, fellow Taoist, please do so. Su Junming patted the gourd on his waist, and the huge suction force enveloped the main branch of the red fruit, which slowly shrank and was taken in. It was only then that everything fell into place, and he was truly relieved, and at the same time, a ray of excitement emerged from his heart. Haha, congratulations. Fellow Daoist Su and fellow Daoist Lin each get what they need, and the conflict is resolved. This is really a great blessing for our practice community in the Central Plains. What Zhu Dao said is true. From now on, everyone should help each other and jointly guard the Central Plains cultivation world, Li Wuji said. Zhang Xiaoyang also smiled and nodded. But his smile looked a little forced. It's no wonder that after obtaining the innate spiritual treasure Tian Li Qi, the last shortcoming of Shen Xiaodao has been made up for. With two golden immortals, they will be the most powerful challengers behind Tianqi Dao. Everyone, since the previous exchange, we are all happy. But don't forget the main purpose of our coming here today. Zhu Hao said one word to calm the four of them down again, and they quickly exchanged glances with each other. Su Junming also knew that the drama was coming. Really? Li Wuji said, fellow Taoist Su, may I ask, after this sermon, do you plan to select people with superior qualifications to establish a sect? Su Junming nodded simply. I have already founded a sect called Chongshan Academy before, but I was busy with cultivation and did not have many disciples. Now that I have become a golden immortal, I want to recruit more disciples, expand the sect, and establish a section. I wonder where you plan to establish the sect? Is it Huanglong Mountain, or is there a difference? Of course there is a difference. Zhu Hazai took over the conversation. The 60 million miles of Middle Earth is the essence of China's Qi County. It has a large population, abundant products, and accounts for 50% of the world's destiny. It is the center of the world. In order to occupy the core of this world and avoid the covetousness of Jin, Liao, Zixia, Nanzhao, and the three mountains and four seas, the cultivation circles of China and the earth must work together to protect this sacred place. Therefore, the top Taoist sects with golden immortals must bear the heavy responsibility of protecting the Central Plains. Today, Tianqi Dao guards Jinghu, Shen Xiao Dao guards Fujian and Zhejiang, Chunyang sect protects Guangzhou and Guizhou, and Kongtong sect protects the southwest. And the vast north is guarded by the Great Song dynasty and the Yellow Emperor's immortal court. Su Jun understood clearly. The four of you mean that Chongshan Academy can choose one direction to guard from the northwest, true north, and northeast. The four of them looked at each other and nodded together. Judging from their expressions, you can tell that they must have discussed it in advance before coming. Moreover, the south, especially the Jiangsu and Zhejiang regions, were rich and prosperous places in the Song dynasty, densely populated and rich in products. More importantly, the 4 seas and 3 mountains are not as aggressive as the Jin and Liao in the north. There is less pressure on defense. The Nanzhao kingdom in the south suffered heavy losses in the battle for the innate spiritual fruit thousands of years ago, and it has not recovered yet. There is basically no possibility of going north, and the pressure on the Kongtong sect to protect them is also small. Only in the north, Jin and Liao are strong and active, and there are already signs of a war. Song dynasty and Xianting alone may not be able to defend it. If Su Junming is added, he will be able to defeat the masters of the 3 caves in Nanzhao as soon as he is born. Not to mention that the northern border is impregnable, at least the threat is reduced by 40 to 50%. When the time comes, there will be no need for their own disciples to go on the field and face the wolf-like and tiger-like monks of the Jin and Liao countries. This is also the reason why they included Su Junming into the Central Plains cultivation world so simply. In addition to Su Junming's amazing strength, it was also because of the increasing pressure from the north. Looking at the 4 people who united the front because of their interests, Su Junming was not surprised. If it were him, he wouldn't be willing to spit out the fat in his mouth. Fortunately, he had already considered it. As far as I know, Tianqi Tao, Shenxiao Tao, Chunyang sect, and Kongtong sect all have a county as a fiefdom, and they also enjoy 10% of the tax of the area they protect. If I, Chongshan Academy, also join this ranks, also get the benefits of fiefdom and taxes. Although practitioners do not need money, sects need money to do good deeds and accumulate reputation. Building and maintaining branch Taoist temples also requires money. Therefore, Tianqi Dao took away the Jinghu North Road, Jinghu South Road and Jiangnan West Road, and nearly 10% of the taxes paid by the common people. Shenxiao Road took away 10% of the taxes on Jiangnan East Road, Liangzhi Road, and Fujian Road. Chunyang School is Guangnan East Road and Guangnan West Road. The Kongtong sect is Lingzhou Road and Lizhu Road. There is no problem with this matter. I just don't know which county Su Dai plans to acquire. And where does he plan to protect it, Zhang Xiaoyang said. I will discuss this matter with the Song dynasty court and inform you all of the results when they come out. Su Junming said calmly. Zhang Xiaoyang frowned slightly and wanted to continue speaking, but was stopped by Li Wuji. No matter what Su Junming chooses, as long as the 4 factions' private land is not touched, they will not be able to take care of it. Zhang Xiaoyang didn't force anything, and he couldn't do anything too much, otherwise it would be difficult to ask for help in the future. We are waiting for the good news from fellow Taoist Su. Su Junming nodded and stood up. Everyone, I still have to prepare for the sermon. If you have nothing else to do, I won't be able to accompany you. The 4 of them also stood up. Everything has been decided, we won't disturb fellow Daoist Su too much, let's take our leave, Li Wuji said. Xiang send 4 fellow Taoists for me. Yes, Patriarch. Su Xiang, who had been standing behind Su Junming, said respectfully. 4 seniors, please. On the day when fellow Taoist Su preaches, I will come again to listen to his teachings and say goodbye. The 4 people, led by Su Xiang, left the bamboo building one after another and left Chongshan residence. The figure of the Dragon Emperor appeared beside him instantly. The thunder struck Shenxiao Dao, what will he do? The 2nd generation direct disciples of Chongshan Academy, since the last time they advanced to Chongshan world, each of them has obtained a low-grade innate spiritual treasure as a treasure for the cave. As the 2nd generation direct descendant, he naturally needs it. In particular, although he also practices martial arts and thunder, in the final analysis, thunder is the main path, and an innate spiritual treasure like Tian Li Qi is just right for him. With the divine furnace of heavenly works and the indestructible spiritual light, I can completely refine an innate spiritual treasure of thunder. But if I miss this red fruit spiritual root, I will regret it for thousands of years. As soon as he finished speaking, he took a step forward and arrived at the Creation Spirit Island in an instant. Among the golden red rocks, there is a green tree that is 3 feet tall, has a fluffy crown, covers an area of about half an acre, has triangular leaves, and is dotted with green fruits the size of peanuts in the middle. A faint spiritual light shines through the gaps between the branches and leaves, setting off the entire green tree, making it extremely sacred. Su Junming stepped forward. After passing through an invisible barrier, the green tree in front of me, which was originally only 3 feet in size, instantly expanded tenfold. The rich green wood spiritual energy almost turned into liquid, and the powerful spiritual light enveloped the entire giant tree. Egg-sized green fruits hang among the branches and leaves, round and plump. The liquefied green wood aura condensed into water droplets and adhered to the green fruit, making it look extremely cute. Looking at the dead wood Su Junming held in his palm, the Dragon Emperor who came with him finally understood. These 2 innate red fruits have the same root. Su Junming nodded excitedly. If not for that, how could I have replaced Lei Ji that day? As if aware of the other half of the body, the leaves of the red fruit branches swayed, as if they were excited. Su Junming's magic power activated, and the dry 100-foot tree crown slowly flew up. Without him needing to do anything, the dry 100-foot tree crown instantly shattered and turned into infinite greenwood spiritual energy, as well as an innate immortal spiritual light, which merged into the lush red fruit spiritual roots below. In an instant, it felt like I had taken something powerful. The red fruit spirit roots grew rapidly. The root system twisted its head like a snake, and in the blink of an eye it broke through the hundreds of feet of rock and penetrated deep into the ground. At the same time, the tree crown rose rapidly, and soon reached a height of 100 feet. The fluffy canopy spreads out, covering hundreds of acres around it. The powerful King Mu spiritual energy became more and more viscous, gradually condensing into a liquid, and a light rain began to fall. Gradually, a lake of about 100 acres in size formed around the rock where Zhu Guolingan was located. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 740. Chapter 721, Middle Grade Innate Spiritual Root. Suddenly, a strong fruity aroma came. Looking along the scent, the green fruit, which was originally only the size of an egg, has now become the size of a football. The green color receded, and the alluring red color gradually replaced it. Every time the red color increases, the fruity aroma becomes twice as attractive. In Su Junming's expectant eyes, half of the 3,000 green fruits were green, 40% were half green and half red, 80% were close to full red, and only 9 were completely red. Looking at everything in front of him, Su Junming closed his eyes and took a deep breath. In an instant, the rich aura of greenwood accompanied by the intoxicating fruity fragrance soaks into the heart and spleen. After the breakthrough, the magic power of the Jinxian who stabilized has increased a lot. Turning to look at the Dragon Emperor, this guy who always liked to have a cold face was looking directly at the ripe red fruits with longing on his face. He reached out and made a move, and 2 red fruit melons fell from their ripe stems and slowly flew into his palm. The Dragon Emperor's eyes also turned around following these 2 red fruits. Can't you see that you are also a foodie? Reaching for one. This is the spiritual fruit produced by the middle grade innate spiritual roots, and you smell the fruity fragrance just now, aren't you greedy? Haha, greedy, how can I not be greedy? As he said that, he picked it up and put it to his mouth, click it, and when he took a bite, the juice immediately splashed out, and a sweet but not greasy, sour but not astringent, crisp yet soft pulp fell into his mouth. After savoring it carefully, Su Junming opened his eyes and took bites. A red fruit, including the skin and flesh, was quickly eaten by him. Even the last remaining thing, an olive-shaped core the size of a quail egg, was put in his mouth and rinsed several times before he gave up. Put away the fruit cores, the first batch of fruit cores produced by the middle grade innate spiritual roots, although they do not have the innate immortal spiritual light, they cannot cultivate the innate spiritual roots. But if cultivated properly, acquired fruits of Taoist level can be cultivated. Don't underestimate the Taoist level acquired spiritual roots. He still doesn't have one in his spiritual medicine garden. It's not that he doesn't want to, it's just that he doesn't have enough energy. This is also where innate spiritual roots differ from acquired spiritual roots. The innate spiritual root has innate immortal spiritual light, which can transform all the energy of heaven and earth into the spiritual energy that one needs. Even in the Dharma-ending world, it can absorb and refine the acquired chaotic energy. Acquired spiritual roots do not have this effect. This is also one of the reasons why innate spiritual roots are precious. Feeling the spiritual energy spreading in his danshan, Su Junming quickly sat down cross-legged to refine it. The red fruit has mild medicinal properties, so the medicinal power transformed from the fruit pulp is completely within the tolerance of his body. As the fruit pulp was refined, the magic power that had stabilized after breaking through the Golden Fairy Queen grew again. At the same time, countless principles about the Aoki Way also emerged in his mind. The innate spiritual fruit contains the Aoki Deo principle, which Su Junming has known for a long time. But the greenwood principle contained in a middle-grade red fruit is 10,000 times greater than that of a low-grade innate spiritual fruit. The gap is just too big. He noticed the strange movement beside him and quickly opened his eyes to look. Next to him, the Dragon Emperor, who was refining the medicinal power of Zuguo, was exuding a strange aura. A faint black cloud flew out of the void and danced around. Chi. With a wave of his sleeves, the celestial elephant divine gate appeared from the void. The divine gate opened and sucked the Dragon Emperor in. After absorbing the innate immortal spiritual light in the tidal beads, the celestial elephant divine sect has advanced to the innate spiritual treasure of the 12 innate spiritual prohibitions. It contains billions of miles of nothingness. Not to mention overcoming the golden immortal tribulation, even overcoming the Tai immortal tribulation, it will not affect the outside world. After seeing off the Dragon Emperor, Su Junming refined the Zikuo spiritual energy with peace of mind. Soon his magic power broke through to the middle stage of Golden Immortal, and quickly moved towards the late stage. 12-foot Qingyuan flew out from the Beihui point above the head, hanging 3 feet in the air, dense, with thousands of auras. A green lotus above Qingyuan grew from the 2nd level to the 3rd level, from the 3rd level to the 4th level, and from the 4th level to the 5th level. After reaching the 6th level, the phantom of the 7th level gradually solidified, and it was about to grow. At that time, there was a sudden collapse. Su Junming opened his eyes, felt the condition inside his body, and couldn't help but sigh. He was just a little short of advancing to the late golden immortal stage. Looking at the 7 ripe red fruits left on the branch, longing filled his eyes. But it soon calmed down again. As an alchemist, there is nothing wrong with eating 1 pill to satisfy your cravings. If you take another pill, it will be a waste of natural resources. If the elixir is refined, the efficacy of a red fruit will be increased 4 to 5 times. This is the right path. With his mind made up, he took out a jade box and put away the remaining 7 red fruits. After affixing the sealing talisman to ensure that the spiritual energy does not leak out, it is placed in the Tiangong Hall. With the innate red fruit as the main medicine, it's time to try to understand the first Tai spiritual pill. Over the years, Su Junming has discovered 4 types of elixirs, namely Huangdan, Di Huangdan, Tian Huangdan and 3 golden dans, which are targeted at heavenly immortals, true immortals, mysterious immortals, and golden immortals respectively. The only Tai spiritual pill given to Tai monks has been unable to be refined because of the lack of reference and the lack of Tai level spiritual root and spirit grass as the main medicine. Now with this Zuguo, his most troublesome problem was instantly solved. Looking at the innate red fruit with its lush branches, thousands of auras, and myriads of rays of light, Su Junming's eyes showed deep enthusiasm. This is the first middle grade innate spiritual root he has obtained so far, and it is extremely precious. Just when he was lost in thought, the celestial elephant gate next to him suddenly opened, and the Dragon Emperor flew out. At this moment, the momentum around him was fluctuating, his magic power was surging, and his powerful aura was shaking the void. He had obviously advanced to the level of Golden Immortal. Falling next to Su Junming, he looked at the brilliant innate Zuguo with fiery eyes. It is indeed a middle-grade innate spiritual root. The medicinal power of just one fruit allowed me to cross 2 realms and advance to the Golden Immortal realm. Looking at him, King Yun, who represents the cultivation level in the Sea of Consciousness, has reached 12 feet. Heavenly immortals have 3 feet, true immortals have 6 feet, mysterious immortals have 9 feet, and only golden immortals have 12 feet. The third level of Lotus platform means that the Dragon Emperor's cultivation has reached the peak of the early stage of Golden Immortal, and is only one step away from entering the middle stage of Golden Immortal. The middle grade innate spiritual roots are the supreme secret treasures that compete with the Tai realm, a realm higher than you and me. What's more, these 3,000 red fruits are the first batch of fruits from this red fruit tree, and they have stronger medicinal power. How do you know these are the first fruits? Bring me the remaining core. The Dragon Emperor threw it over casually. He reached out to catch it, invading a small amount of mana, and a rune lit up. From this rune, the Dragon Emperor felt the strong King Muad'Dao charm, but it was different from the ordinary King Muad'Dao charm. There was a sense of good fortune in this rune. Did you see it? This is called the Origin Spirit Talisman. The fruits of the first 3 generations of innate spiritual roots will all be there. However, only the first generation has such rich Tao Yun. Looking at the fruit trees, they should have been created when Chixian Shenzhou was born. It has been hundreds of millions of years. How come they have just produced the first batch of fruits, said the Dragon Emperor. What's so hard to guess about this? If you want to grow middle-grade innate spiritual roots, and then bear fruit, you need almost a huge amount of spiritual energy. Although Chixian Shenzhou is in the middle 1,000 worlds, it is still too reluctant to support middle-grade innate spiritual roots. The target of the middle-grade innate spiritual root is the Great 1,000 World. Only the Great 1,000 World can make it bloom in 3,000 years, bear fruit in 3,000 years, and mature in another 3,000 years. In Zhongqian World, this process would be 5 to 6 times longer, or even 10 times longer. Even so, a world must have innate spiritual roots. Because only the innate spiritual roots can sort out the turbidity, assist the heaven and earth in transforming the acquired chaotic energy, and promote the advancement of the world. Su Junming's Chongshan world is an exception. It is not natural like Chixian Shenzhou, but man-made. Naturally, it must be shaped according to Su Junming's will. So, Chixian Shenzhou supported the innate red fruit that took hundreds of millions of years to grow, and it all benefited you in the end, said the Dragon Emperor. Wrong, it's us. You just used it to break through the Golden Immortal, saving hundreds of years of hard work. After a pause, he looked at the bright innate Zuguo. With this batch of fruits, if we can refine them into elixirs, we will have no shortage of elixirs to increase our power and replenish our chi for at least 3,000 years. That also depends on whether we can find clues to the world, otherwise this batch of fruits will not be used up for tens of thousands of years, the Dragon Emperor said. By the way, if this innate red fruit is one of the 3 middle-grade innate spiritual treasures created by Chixian Shenzhou, including the heavenly demon wonderful falling flag that has been refined by us, it will be the 3 best treasures in Chixian Shenzhou. There's only one thing left out there. Su Junming nodded. It's a pity that my understanding of the way of destiny has not yet broken through to the Tai realm, and I cannot cross the Qi County Shenzhou heavenly way and trace its clues. Otherwise, I can make some plans. There is also the Chinese world, Nine Uncle world, the Dragon Emperor reminded. There are currently two middle-grade innate spiritual treasures known to the Chinese world. One is Renwuji's Yin-Yang Great Mill, and the other is the Holy Cross of the Western Holy See. The last thing, a 100% middle-grade innate spiritual root, I don't know what it is, and I don't know where it is hidden. But Su Junming believed that after he captured Chixian Shenzhou and annexed Jushu's world, the truth would naturally come to light. The Dragon Emperor bent down and picked up some water from the lake. It was completely formed by the liquefied greenwood spiritual energy. The emerald-like water slowly left behind. Such pure Aoki spiritual energy is really rare. If you want to practice the Aoki divine light, just take some, Su Junming said. My Aoki divine light has been perfected and is no longer needed. As for Zhuge Wolong and the others, let's talk about it after they come to this world. Su Junming nodded, and with a thought in his heart, a stream of milky white light flew over and turned into a small cup of innate good fortune spiritual water. Take out the red jade mulberry branches that Zhao Wuji gave you just now. After being watered with the spiritual water of creation, the dead branches visibly regain their vitality. Clusters of roots grow from the ends of the branches, and in the blink of an eye they become half an acre in diameter. Su Junming waved, and the liquefied Qingmu spiritual energy flew over and was quickly absorbed by the powerful root system, and branches were pulled out from the main pole. Immediately afterwards, mulberry leaves that were bigger than the millstone grew out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 741. Within a moment, a giant mulberry tree with no roots and a height of 100 feet appeared in front of us. The rich pure yang essence spread out, making the surrounding area 100 feet like falling into a furnace. Looking at Ju Sang in front of him, Su Junming nodded with satisfaction. Sure enough, as he expected, the rank of the top-grade spiritual root of the red jade divine mulberry was preserved. If someone from the Chunyang sect knew that you had this hand, they would definitely not trade it with you, the Dragon Emperor said. They don't know, do they? He snapped his fingers, and soon, a purple light rushed out from the ground and turned into a purple sweet potato boy with a purple body. Zizi, plant this red jade mulberry tree at No 13. Regarding herbal spiritual roots, Su Junming has 2 completely different systems and 4 different levels. Heaven and earth are Xian Huang and A, B, B, D. The former corresponds to nature, and the latter corresponds to nurture. For example, the low-grade innate spiritual root he obtained earlier is the Huang level, and the innate vermilion fruit that has just recovered to its original state is the Xian level. The acquired spiritual roots are different. Low-grade immortal roots correspond to D level, mid-grade immortal roots correspond to C level, and top-grade immortal roots naturally correspond to A level. The number is 13, which means that the red jade divine mulberry is the 13th best immortal root he has obtained. All spiritual herbs and elixirs below the immortal root level have been eliminated from his medicine garden. After responding respectfully, Zizi patted the medicine basket on her waist. The strong suction force enveloped the red jade god mulberry, which became smaller and disappeared into the medicine basket. Go ahead. Disciple resigns. By the way, when I am away from now on, you will personally take care of this innate red fruit. Thank you, teacher. Glancing excitedly at the middle-grade innate spiritual root next to her, Zij could clearly sense the powerful innate Aoki spiritual energy surging in it, as well as the almost boundless Aoki Daoyun. If he could practice here, his cultivation would surely improve rapidly. He waved his hand. Go ahead. After bowing deeply, Zizi gradually disappeared. I'm going to stabilize my cultivation. After leaving these words, the Dragon Emperor also disappeared. After shaking his head slightly, Su Junming finally took a look at the auspicious and brilliant innate Zikuo, and then left the Creation Spirit Island. The east rises and the west sets, the sun and the moon ebb and flow, and 3 months pass quickly. At this moment, thousands of monks gathered inside and outside Huanglong Mountain, and countless auras rose to the sky. Vast mana, powerful aura fills the sky and the earth. On the entire Huanglong Mountain, 4 huge spiritual boats were suspended in the sky, and in each boat were thousands of disciples of the 4 great Dao sects. Next to this Dharma boat, there are 78 other spiritual boats of various sizes, obviously one size smaller, gathered together. Although their auras are not as good as those of the 4 great spirit boats, they are still powerful. This is the 78 Central Plains Taoist gates in addition to the 4 great gates. There are at least 2 to 3 Xianxian sitting at each door. Further outward from these Dharma boats, there are some suspended pagodas, golden swords, etc., of various kinds, totaling more than 1,000 pieces. The disciples sitting cross-legged on these magical instruments are the 1,080 sects of Central Plains Taoism that have true immortals sitting in their charge. As for the lower gate where the gods are just in charge, there are even more. The sum total of Linlin and Zongzong is probably no less than Wanjia. Except for these sect disciples, most casual cultivators did not dare to be so high profile. Of course, those who are highly skilled in cultivation are exceptions. Seeing that the time for preaching is approaching, everyone is eagerly looking forward to it. Roar. The powerful dragon roar immediately made everyone subconsciously look up into the sky. Ripples suddenly appeared in the originally empty mid-air, and gradually a crystal palace about 100 feet in size and extremely gorgeous appeared in the mid-air. Before everyone could calm down. In the same way, 3 suspended 100-foot peaks appeared in mid-air. Is it the crystal palace of the 4 Seas Dragon clan and the 3 flying islands of Penglai Mountain, Suandu Mountain, and Kongming Mountain? Everyone instantly recognized the origins of these 4 immortal artifacts. The dragon clan of the 4 seas have always been united. Although there is only one golden immortal dragon clan in charge of the 4 seas, few other forces dare to offend. In contrast, Penglai Mountain, Suandu Mountain, and Kongming Mountain will work together to fight against the enemy when encountering external threats. But when it comes to unity, it is far inferior to the dragon clan. However, it is not easy for someone to go from being a poor and useless casual cultivator to becoming a golden immortal. In particular, the master of Suandu Mountain, Suandu Taoist, has been cultivating the golden immortal for tens of thousands of years. In terms of seniority, he is higher than the old Tianchi Dao master Zhang Chongyang. His strength is even more unfathomable. The 2 holy mothers of Kongming Mountain, Jingguang and Jinyun, are also rare female golden immortals in China in Qi County. The 2 of them jointly control the innate spiritual treasure Bishui Shenluo, and no one dares to mess with them. Penglai Mountain, which was originally the strongest among the 3 mountains, has fallen to the bottom of the 3 mountains in terms of strength since the old mountain master failed to overcome the tribulation 3,000 years ago. Although the golden immortal is still in charge. Looking at the Crystal Palace and the 3 hills, although they stood parallel to the spirit boats at the 4 Avenues gate, they automatically came to both sides. Li Wuji smiled lightly. A few of my disciples from all over the world are truly mediocre. The 4 saints of Penglai, the 3 immortals of Kongming, and the 2 wonders of Suandu are as famous as any of our disciples, Zhang Xiaoyang said with a smile. Since leaving Su Junming's Chongshan residence, Lin Lingsu has been refining the heavenly thunder chisel and returned to the Dharma boat of Shenxiao Dao. The remaining 3 people gathered on the Tianchi Dao Dharma boat. Do you think people from Jin, Liao, Zixia, and Nanzao will come? Zhu Hazai suddenly asked. Jin, Liao, and Zixia don't know, but people from Nanzao will definitely come. Zhang Sheiyang's tone was affirmative. Because of the witch god battle axe, Zhu Hazai said. Cezanne went crazy trying to take back the witch god battle axe. In the past, he couldn't shake Xiaohao's seal, so that was it. Now that the battle axe is in Su Junming's hands, he will not give up no matter what. Zhu Hezai nodded in agreement. Actually, I'm curious, what kind of conditions did Su Junming put forward? Si Zhan actually refused without even thinking about it, Li Wuji said. I also want to know what is more precious than the 3 top-grade spiritual objects and the top-grade immortal root Feng Zhao. Zhang Xiaoyang echoed. Zhu Hezai pondered for a moment and suddenly said, it can't be an innate spiritual treasure, right? Zhang Xiaoyang and Li Wuji looked at each other and nodded at the same time. What can be more precious than 3 top-grade spiritual objects and 1 top-grade immortal root is either an innate spiritual treasure or an innate spiritual root. Innate spiritual roots are too rare and basically impossible. On the contrary, there are innate spiritual treasures, although they are few. But given the long heritage of the Wu clan, it may not be impossible. Moreover, the Witch clan does not cultivate magic power, unless it is an innate spiritual treasure that conforms to their own principles. They cannot use the rest. Su Junming is really lucky. He just bought an innate spiritual treasure and someone immediately gave him one, Zhu Hezai said enviously. It should be noted that their Kongtong sect does not have the inheritance of innate spiritual treasures. Li Wuji's Chunyang sect had none of them. After sighing slightly in his heart, he turned his eyes. You, Tianqi Dao, will only have 2 more competitors in the future. Zhang Xiaoyang twitched the corner of his mouth. Naturally, we knew that he was talking about Shenxiao Dao, which was struck by thunder, and Chongshan Academy, which was about to establish a sect. Everything is our guess. What Si Zhan exchanged may not be the innate spiritual treasure. Li Wuji and Zhu Hezai smiled lightly and didn't say much. Apart from the innate spiritual treasures, they really couldn't think of anything more precious than the 4 top-grade immortal treasures. Roar. The powerful dragon roar sounded again. At the same time, he also interrupted Zhang Xiaoyang, who was about to speak. Everyone turned to look. A vast golden light dyed the entire western sky golden. Bathed in the vast golden light, a huge dragon boat, thousands of feet long, flew out from above Bianliang in Tokyo. The golden dragon boat of the Yellow Emperor's immortal court. Is the immortal Emperor Zhao Kuangaian here? The arrival of the dragon boat caused a huge sensation among many monks. The dragon boat, accompanied by the vast imperial dragon energy, with everyone's attention, crossed the 4 spiritual boats of the Tao sect and came to the front. The golden dragon boat represents the immortal court of the Yellow Emperor and the royal family of the Song dynasty. One of them controls the sky, and the other controls the central plains. They are the strongest in the world in terms of strength and power. Naturally, he is qualified to occupy the front position. Hey, Yang Ye isn't here. Li Wuji did not sense Yang Ye's aura from the golden dragon boat. There is no breath of Zhao Pu either, Zhu Hezai said. There was no Jinxian sitting on the entire golden dragon boat. Instead, there were Fan Ji, Wei Ronpu, Wei Angxiu, Wang Engshi, Lu Mengzheng, Han Qi, Cao Zun, etc. Prime ministers who had become Xianxian with the help of the luck of the Song dynasty appeared with their respective students. On top, although there was no Jinxian in charge, Li Wuji and others did not object to Jinlong's Hu occupying the most prominent position. After all, the current emperor Huizong Zhaoji was still sitting there. Everyone was talking as time passed by, and the warm light of the morning became dazzling. The vast sunshine spreads down. Against the backdrop of the Dede Mountain in Huanglong Mountain, it is full of life. In an instant, a boundless and powerful aura spread from the center of Huanglong Mountain. So strong. Li Wuji and Zhu Hezai looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Although he had long known that Su Junming, who could defeat the master of the 3rd Shangdong cave of the Wu clan, must be powerful. But the aura displayed by the opponent at this moment gave them an unmatched sense of oppression. This shows how tyrannical he is. In the Shenxiao Dao spirit boat, Lin Lingsu couldn't help but sigh. Fortunately, we didn't take action rashly, otherwise even if you and I, brothers and sisters, join forces, I'm afraid we won't be our match. Next to him, Wang Wenqing, who was wearing a purple robe and a feather crown, nodded. No wonder he can conquer southern Xinjiang, his strength is really strong. If the Golden Immortals just felt that Su Junming's momentum made them feel a little uncomfortable. The Xianxian, whose cultivation level was one level lower, felt that a huge mountain was pressing down on their heads, which was extremely heavy. Others with lower cultivation levels only feel like an ant. At this moment, a giant god is watching them, as if they will be killed mercilessly if they make the slightest move. This feeling of a sharp knife hanging from the neck makes most people afraid to make the slightest move. Within a radius of thousands of miles, even Bian Liang, which had the imperial dragon energy, surrendered to this powerful momentum. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 742. Boom. In an instant. Above Huanglong Mountain, the situation is changing. A figure that was 1,000 feet tall and somewhat illusory stood proudly in the air. This person is wearing a green Taoist robe, a green gourd hanging from his waist, and mango shoes on his feet. His hair is tied back and spread freely. The huge body sat cross-legged on the yellow futon, with the scorching sun above his head casting golden light, making him look like a god who had walked down from heaven. Eye-catching. I feel reverence in my heart. Meet the true Lord Taoist Chongshan. I don't know who started it first. For a moment, the entire Huanglong Mountain was enveloped in the sound of respectful worship. You don't have to be polite, please get up. The magnificent sound reaches everyone's ears accurately. After everyone stood up, loud voices came from the Crystal Palace. Ao Qian, the eldest prince of the Dragon Clan of the East China Sea, Ao Kun, the eldest prince of the Dragon Clan of the West Sea, Ao Sun, the eldest prince of the Dragon Clan of the South China Sea, and Ao Zhen, the eldest prince of the Dragon Clan of the North Sea, present 4 pearls and 8 pairs of beautiful jade on behalf of the Dragon Clan of the 4 Seas, and congratulate the true monarch of the Taoist Chongshan Mountain Senior, achieve the Golden Immortal Realm, live forever, and enjoy immortal blessings forever. As he spoke, 4 spiritual lights flew out of the Crystal Palace and transformed in mid-air into figures wearing gorgeous robes of yellow, red, green, and purple, with dragon horns on their heads. It was Sihai Longzi. At this moment, each of the 4 sons is holding a jade box, bending down to salute, with respectful expressions. You are interested? Xiang please take the things. Yes, Patriarch. Yu Xiang, who was accompanying them, flew out and took the jade boxes from the hands of the 4 of them one by one. The 4th prince bowed and returned to the Crystal Palace. Then 4 more rays of light flew out. Hanju, Yang Tai, Xing Zhan, and Si Yanbo of Penglai Mountain, on behalf of their mentor, Sacred Heart Sanren, present 3 jade peaches, and wish the true king to achieve the realm of golden immortality, live a long life, and enjoy immortal blessings forever. Before he finished speaking, 3 more rays of light flew out. Kongming Mountain Hanke, Susiang and Bai Nishang, on behalf of the thousands of monks in Kongming Mountain, as well as the 2 mentors of Our Lady of Golden Light and Our Lady of Golden Cloud, offer 12 drops of Yuelan spiritual water, and wish the true king to achieve the goal of becoming a golden immortal realm, live forever and enjoy immortal blessings forever. Immediately afterwards, 2 rays of light, one black and one white, flew out from behind. Suindu Mountain Baki and Haiki, on behalf of their mentor Suindu Genren, offer 6 pills of the 3 transformations golden pill, and wish the real king to achieve the golden immortal realm, live forever, and enjoy immortal blessings forever. Su Junming also heard a little bit about these 9 most outstanding descendants of Sanshan. After some secret knowledge, he basically has the cultivation level of Xianxian. Moreover, the weakest ones are also in the mid-term, and most of them are in the late stage. Among them, the most outstanding ones, Hanju, Susiang and Heiqi, are already at the peak of Xianxian. Sure enough, Anyone who can create a great reputation in such a large world of cultivation is not an easy person, Su Junming thought to himself. Thank you, master, for me. I will obey the orders of the true king. Xiang collect the things for me. Yes. After people from all over the world went down, the 4 main gates that were left behind began to offer gifts one by one. Just like the 4 seas and 3 mountains, they are all top-grade immortal materials. Only materials of this specification can be discerned by the golden immortal. As for the best fairy materials, they are not in large quantity to begin with. Each sect does not have enough for itself, so how can it be used as a gift? Your Majesty, do you have any gifts to offer? Noticing that the people at the 4 great gates were almost retreating and there was still no movement from the court, Wang Engshi and others couldn't help but ask. A gift? Why should I give a gift? Huitsong asked with a frown. Others have always given him gifts. When was it his turn, the king of a country, to give gifts to others? The golden immortal is the strongest person in the world, with a valuable status. It cannot be achieved without great luck, great merits, and great magic power. Therefore, every time a golden immortal is born, especially one in our Song dynasty, the imperial court will send it as a gift. A gift to show respect, Wei Ronpu quickly explained. This. Zhao Ji was speechless. No one had told him this. Subconsciously looking to the side, he saw that Bao Zhang, who had already gone to serve in the immortal court, and came with him to listen to the sermon, had a dark face. He instantly remembered that Cai Jing was at home on leave today and did not come with him. Cai Yuan Chang harmed the country. Cao Zun cursed angrily. Zhao Ji has only been on the throne for a few decades, and in the past hundreds of years, no new golden immortal has been born in Chixian China, so he is excusable for not knowing. But Cai Jing, who has been practicing for thousands of years and is the prime minister of the Song dynasty, cannot possibly not know this. Now is not the time to scold. Fan Zhi took out a jade box from his sleeve. Brother Zepping gave this to me before leaving. Inside is a high-grade immortal weapon. I was asked to represent the immortal. The imperial court expressed its congratulations, but now it seems that the imperial court can only be included. Zepping is Zhao Pu's character. That's all, Wei Ronpu sighed. Just as Fan Zhi was about to move, a sudden strong pressure pushed everyone down. A majestic voice rang in everyone's ears. Su Junming thanks you all for your kind words, but monks like us should be indifferent to fame and fortune and practice hard. The congratulations are not necessary. Moreover, today, tens of thousands of monks have come from afar to listen to my sermons. It would be my fault if I was wasting everyone's precious time because of my own personal affairs. Once the words are spoken, the pressure disappears. But looking at the gift in his hand, Fan Zhi couldn't help but sigh. To send him away at this time would be equivalent to standing on the opposite side of the millions of monks around him. It's too late after all. Clang. The clear and loud bells resound throughout Huanglong Mountain. When the bell sounded, everyone felt that the distracting thoughts in their hearts disappeared and their emotions became calmer. Wang Wenqing and Lin Lingsu looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. With a little knowledge, just by the sound of the bell, he knew that this was a supreme immortal weapon aimed at the soul. The Emperor and heaven are above, and the 3 pure ones have learned from it. My disciple Su Junming has achieved the golden immortal realm. He feels that it is difficult for monks in the world to practice and there is no way to rely on it. He specially lectures on the Great Way for 99 and 81 days, so that those who have both virtue and virtue can have a way forward, perseverance. Those who are difficult and profound have wonderful methods to follow, those who are wise and sublime have ways to become stronger. This sermon is not for fame or fortune, I just want the method of practice to be spread throughout the world, so that everyone who is determined can become an immortal and a saint. How wonderful! The majestic voice paused for a moment. Today I will explain the 9 magical methods of the 5 elements, yin and yang, wind and thunder, and give me the 9 methods of becoming an immortal. You must listen carefully and do not make any noise. All the monks who had no sect, and no immortal dharma, instantly became excited. They had heard the sermon several times, but this was the first time they had encountered a sermon that also included teaching methods of practice. Real mercy! Countless people shouted excitedly. Clang clang clang. After the bell rang 3 times, everyone regained their clarity of mind again. Among the 5 elements, those who are virtuous and carry things come first, so the poor Taoist first talks about the earth and the Tao. Just wait and listen. The sky is clear and the earth is turbid, containing the mysterious energy of the 5 elements. The color is like dark yellow, thick and turbid. It is called earth. Su Junming lectured for 8 days. I spent 8 days talking about 2 Dharma. Not only did I gain insights, but I also handed down a Ho Tu Zhenjing, which covers mental methods, magical methods, elixir methods, and talisman methods. Anyone who wants to go can create a low-level immortal sect with this. After talking about the earth method, there is the fire method. Zhang Xiaoyang opened his eyes. Su Dao has a friendly and broad mind. Although this thick earth sutra is not a top-notch skill, it is still an excellent skill that is hard to find. Many of the directly passed down skills from the middle sect are not as sophisticated as its Zhu Hezai side. Although his heart is broad, his heart is deeper still. After noticing the gazes of the 2 people, Li Wuji continued, there are also people with excellent qualifications and understanding among casual cultivators. This Hutu Sutra only has 1 chapter for heavenly immortals. If someone has cultivated to the realm of heavenly immortals, they want to find the follow-up. As for the Dharma method, I can only ask Chongshan Academy for help. I think that when the time comes, fellow Daoist Su will not mind taking them under his sect and strengthening the Chongshan lineage. It's really a good plan. Zhang Xiaoyang sighed. When it comes to the inheritance of immortal magic, our 3 sects are all in need of it, so we might not be able to use this method. What Dao Zhang said is indeed true, but Dao Su's method is not suitable for our 4 major sections. Zhu Hezai shook his head. Why? We are not Chongshan Academy. For tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of years, we have established a complete set of channels for selecting disciples. All disciples of our 4 major sects must have received the complete Taoist code of education since childhood, and among them, the outstanding those who can become the direct descendants. If we rashly absorb external disciples, over time, the direct descendants will inevitably compete with outsiders, which will be detrimental to the sect's inheritance. Zhang Xiaoyang suddenly realized, it's Zhu Dao who has foresight. The person who is farsighted is Su Dao. His sect is newly established and his disciples are all outsiders. However, he has no such scruples. Using this method, he can recruit all the best talents in the world. In just 1,000 years, Chongshan Academy will become another major sect in the world. Zhu Hezai sighed. After speaking, the atmosphere among the 3 became silent. There is nothing more depressing than watching your competitors grow bigger and bigger while you can only watch. Actually, it's better to do this. Only with stronger strength can we resist the wolf-like and tiger-like monks of Jin and Liao. Li Wuji said slowly. Zhang Xiaoyang and Zhu Hezai nodded. They also know that these words are just comfort. Su Junming taught the earth dharma for 8 days, the fire dharma for another 8 days, the metal dharma for another 8 days, and by the time he finally finished teaching the pure yang dharma, 72 days had passed. These 72 days are all about the dharma and enlightenment of gods and below. With only the last 9 days left, a sudden change occurred, and the teachings he preached suddenly became obscure. Those who were a little disappointed before and had become immortals quickly cheered up. The more Su Junming spoke, the more obscure he became. Soon Tianxian couldn't bear it anymore and had to open his eyes with sweating profusely and a look of regret on his face. Soon this scene happened to the real immortal again. After the true immortal comes the mysterious immortal. After the Xian immortal, it is actually the Tao that only the golden immortal can understand. Li Wuji, Lin Lingsu, and others were shocked. Because Su Junming not only talked about the five elements, but also talked about the profound principles of wind, thunder, and the 9 great ways of yin and yang, which only the golden immortal can understand. Although it is only a small taste, it is enough to shock people.